What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7 hectoseconds chapter 129 Boom. 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 Several figures suddenly fell from the sky and fell into Konoha Village. It is just a few other 6 paths pain. Konoha, from this moment on, feel the pain, pens whispered to themselves. After they arrived at Konoha, there was no pause. Directly on the surrounding people and things, launched a devastating blow. Boom. Boom. The animal Dao Pain's hands were sealed, and a few white smoke and muffled noise suddenly appeared on the ground. A large number of giant summoning beasts appeared suddenly, rushing and crashing in Konoha Village. It's a summoning beast. Run! What the hell happened? Why did the enemy invade Konoha? Master Ninja, please help us. The civilians were so frightened that they shouted for help and fled in embarrassment. The destruction caused by this giant summoning beast is the most serious. Every time they move a body, they can destroy a large house and take countless lives. Among civilians, it is the relentless and flexible harvester. Damn it! Dare to come to Konoha to make trouble. Stop me! Wind-style spiral shuriken. Boom! The devastating giant rhinoceros was invaded by Naruto, who fell from the sky and slammed it to the ground. The spiral shuriken turned and cut, directly cutting down the head of this rhinoceros, dyeing a piece of blood red with a puff of blood. Roar! A giant chameleon roared and opened a pouring mouth towards Naruto, its strange face making people shudder. Between this electric light flint, Sasuke flickered with thunder, holding 1,000 birds and patted the chameleon. The giant chameleon flew out, a big hole was directly punched through its body, and blood splashed into the sky. Huh, it's going to die if it's careless. Sasuke gave a cold snort of Tsunere, and then rushed to the other summoning beast. Huh. Thanks Sasuke. Naruto grinned, his hands were sealed, and thousands of clones were released. Cooperate with Sasuke and launch a full attack on the summoning beast in the village. In Konoha Village, the sky is full of fire, noisy. The giant beasts were rampant, and houses collapsed and fell. There was continuous artillery fire, and one life fell on the spot. 6 paths pain is 6 avatars, namely, Heavenly Dao, Shira Dao, Human World, Animal Dao, Hungry Kido, Hell Dao. Each avatar has a unique ability to cooperate with each other, almost invincible existence. Shira Dao Pain's whole body is turned into machinery, and all kinds of missile fire are shot out, like a walking weapon fire arsenal. The fires and explosions in the village are all his masterpieces. In terms of his ability to destroy, it can be said that he is second only to the existence of heaven. The Shira Dao and the Animal Dao are responsible for creating chaos. The human world quietly shuttled through Konoha Village. He attacked every ninja and village name and kept collecting intelligence in the other side's mind. In the ninja world, the most important thing is intelligence. It can be seen in the original work that the importance of intelligence can influence any battle. If Konoha Village knew the full capabilities of 6 paths pen in advance, it would certainly not be marked as miserable. The importance of intelligence is also relative, so human world collects Konoha's intelligence all the time. Only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you win every battle. Once the human world is discovered by the ninja, the hungry Kido will run out to contain it. If it is killed, there will be hell roads standing outside the village to help him resurrect. Then he plunged into Konoha Village again and continued to gather information. As for the last Heavenly Dao Pain, he stands high in the sky with his arms wide open. His voice spread throughout Konoha Village like a god, judging Konoha's sins. Behind the prosperity is endless pain. As the leader of Shinobu Village, Konoha has created the most pain. Today, you all have to pay for it. Feel the pain. Consider the pain. Understand the pain. Puff. Tian Dao Pain hadn't finished speaking yet. A giant hand that covered the sky drowned the sky, and the day turned into night in an instant. The terrifying spiritual coercion made the hearts of all the villagers tremble slightly. With the vast power of the sky covering Big Hand, Pain, like a mosquito repelling the sky, slapped down casually. Boom. Heavenly Path Pain suddenly turned into a black line and fell, falling heavily into the ground, rotten to pieces. Nagato, who was not far from Konoha Village, twitched the corners of his mouth, and his pupils shrank suddenly. This method. Is this the legendary strength of Mr. Immortal? Nagato's thin face showed surprise, and his voice murmured hoarsely. Just now, a palm was directly transformed into the sky. Such a terrifying sight. Is it ninjutsu or something else? Just talk, stand so high and do what you do. People who don't know think that you are the Hokage who is enthroned today. Senju Chongsheng gave a faint smile, and then withdrew his aura. He no longer paid attention to the chaotic scenes around him, and walked indifferently towards home. Several summoning beasts crossed in front of him. It can be described as arrogant and defiant. Puff 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 puff. Senju Chongsheng walks down the street like a stroll in a garden, with a golden streamer lingering around him. Any enemy or summoning beast that blocks him from moving forward will be directly exploded into blood by the golden curse on him. The threat of Akatsuki's invasion of Konoha is actually not great. Konoha today is not the Konoha in the original book. Not only are 3 Hokages coexisting, but Shisui, Orochimaru, and Poros. There are also 2 great comparisons between Sasuke and Naruto. Although Naruto does not have 9 tails in his body, he has a Hokage father and a Jinchuriki mother. His strength is definitely not worse than that in the original book. And Sasuke is constantly getting stronger under the guidance and pressure of Itachi. Itachi used illusion to create a 20-year-long illusion for Sasuke, thus successfully awakening Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan. Compared to Konoha, Senju is more worried. On the contrary, they're antiques in the house. They're very precious. What if these summoning beasts are not trampled on? Oh, master, where are you going? Help kill them. Tsunade kicked and exploded a giant cow, and the scene where the blood suddenly appeared was incompatible with her appearance. Seeing that master seemed to be going home, he immediately shouted anxiously. It's a pity that Senju Chongsheng didn't mean to stop. He waved his hand and said calmly. I'll leave it to you here. I'll go home and see the situation. Tsunade. Have to. It seems that master did not regard these invaders as threats at all. Stable. Stable. Tsunade shrugged his shoulders to express helplessness, and then his whole body's vitality soared, transforming into the phantom of the golden idol, and directly locked onto the animal realm. Boom. She stamped her jade foot and the earth trembled. The figure instantly appeared next to the animal road, punched out, and made a sound of breaking through the air. The animal's eyes moved, and there was no time to dodge. The head burst open on the spot. It's a bit weak, no wonder the master said it was handed to us. Tsunade said disapprovingly. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, a few hundred Zhong figures suddenly appeared. Different from the previous ones, the chakra bursting out of these figures is extremely evil. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 136 Tailed Beasts and Akatsuki Members. Tsunade looked back blankly. When she saw the huge figure behind her clearly, her eyebrows frowned slightly. This fuck. Is it here to catch 9 tails or to destroy Konoha? 1 tail Shuhei, 2 Matabi, 3 tails, 5 tails Kakuo, 6 tails Seiken, 7 tails Chome. A total of 6 tail beasts descended on Konoha. The Akatsuki organization was unscrupulous this time and threw out all the tail beasts it had caught so far. They didn't worry that the tail beast would run away. Isshin just wanted to destroy Konoha. All Konoha's strong faces showed shock and horror in their hearts. This is not good. Itachi, Shisui, Kisame, the 3 of you come with me. Namikaze Minato used Flying Thunder God to come to Uchiha Itachi and others with a solemn expression. Clear. The 3 replied, and Itachi and Shisui released Susanoo at the same time. The crimson chakra bloomed out, forming a huge figure in Konoha Village. Wearing armor, he only has a 10-fist sword in one hand, and he clasps Yata mirror firmly in the other. It is like a god of war standing in the position, shocking. The same is true on Shisui's side, the whole body is wrapped in green chakra. The whole person merged into Susanoo, holding a bright green spiral sword, standing side by side with Susanoo of Itachi. 4th form Susanoo. Susanoo in this form already has 2 legs and is wearing armor, so he can use the artifact. One person can hammer a head and tail beast. The prestige of the Uchiha clan, from today onwards, will once again make the ninja world fear. Hey ha 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 ha. You won't really only have tail beasts, idiots. A frantic laughter suddenly came. Namikaze Minato and others discovered this. On the back of the tail beast, there are still a few figures of the Shao organization standing tall. Hidan, Kakuzu, Sasori. The existence of Senju Chongsheng makes the trend of the plot completely divorced from the original work. Neither the 3 Akatsuki members nor the 6 surrounding beasts have appeared in the original work. It's no wonder that Nagato will attack Konoha in advance, which is also closely related to the number of surviving Akatsuki members. Traitors, if you betray Madara-sama and Akatsuki, you will die miserably, and Konoha can't protect you. Hidan stuck out his tongue and licked his big knife. The smile on his face was like a skeleton, giggling. It's a bit difficult now. Namikaze Minato glanced at Kushina with a deep face. The opponent's goal is that 9 tails is not fake, but it seems that they're planning to destroy Konoha. He has no skills to do so, not only to protect Kushina, but also to protect the village. Right now the tail beasts are rampant, and the members of Akatsuki's organization wantonly sabotage. It can be described as multiple blows, making people dilemma. It's just a tail beast, just leave it to me to deal with it. At this time, Poros, wearing a cloak, walked slowly like a savior. After he stopped, he suddenly lifted the cloak covering his figure, revealing the body that looked like a star in the universe. There is also a huge shield behind it, like a guardian knight, giving people a sense of security. After so long of practicing in retreat, it's time to show off my basalt power. Poros grinned, his eyes flickering. His fists were already hungry and thirsty. Now I meet the tail beast again, and there are still a total of 6. This is simply the arrangement God has given him. Seeing Poros coming on stage, Namikaze Minato's originally gloomy face suddenly showed a touch of joy. How powerful Poros is, he has seen it with his own eyes. If Mr. Immortal is the strongest in Konoha Village, then Namikaze Minato would like to call Poros second. Uchiha Itachi and Susanoo said with a cold voice, I and Shisui helped Mr. Poros against the tail beast. Then please, I will be responsible for saving the civilians. Namikaze Minato nodded slightly. His advantage lies in speed, which is not suitable for collision with tail beasts. And there are many strong players in Konoha Village, just let them deal with the members of the tail beast and Akatsuki. Namikaze Minato himself went to rescue more people, and it would not be too late to come back after the evacuation was over. After a few simple discussions, the few people present were assigned their jobs. The responsibility of Poros and others is to take down the enemy. As for the rescue of civilians, leave it to Namikaze Minato and Konoha and other ninjas. Uchiha Itachi's eyes are very cold, but today is his day of enthronement. Akatsuki's behavior is undoubtedly tearing down his stage. Itachi, who has never had a wave of heart, finally has a hint of anger in his heart. Boom. The tail beast slapped it off, and the building flew up, raising a cloud of dust. The battle between the two sides was on the verge of breaking out, and various blasts sounded one after another. Namikaze Minato used the Flying Thunder God technique, and his figure disappeared for a breath of time. When he reappeared, he brought Orochimaru from the laboratory directly. Senior Orochimaru, I beg you here, now in Konoha crisis, more power is needed, Namikaze Minato solemnly said. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth with his tongue, his expression still as dark as before. He did not refuse, nodded and said, interesting, just to try my new toy. Rumble. As his voice fell, the entire Konoha village trembled. A huge robot suddenly crawled out of the laboratory, looking like a fox, with 9 chakra Hokage behind it, like a tail. Mecha 9 tails. Come and try the power of technology, Orochimaru shouted with a crazy smile on his face. The Mech 9 tails stood on the ground with chakra shells in his mouth, and hit one of the tail beasts head on. Boom. The fight of the tail beast was terrifying, and chakra poured out and razed the neighborhood to the ground. The scene was shocked to the extreme. Jiraiya was also unwilling to show weakness. He used Sage Art to bombard Sasori's puppet, and the surrounding flames burned hot. Tsunade is a simple and rude punch, hammering the flying tail beast in the front, quite like Senju Chongsheng suppressed 9 tails back then. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen is old, he is still not old. He also summons the summoning beast to fight against Pen's attack. Namikaze Minato focuses on saving people and protecting his wife Kushina. Uchiha Itachi turned on Susanoo and bumped into a head and tail beast head on. Kang. The 10-fist sword in his hand made scars on the tail beast one after another, and unilaterally crushed the tail beast. Sannin fought side by side again, and Hokage of 3 eras shot at the same time. For a time, there was a tendency to crush, everyone, let me help you. Kakashi displayed his lightning style and descended to Kisame, watching Hidan and Kakuzu warily. I'll take care of Hidan, Kakuzu will leave it to you, is it okay? Kisame didn't reject Kakashi's kindness, but said lightly. Certainly. Kakashi nodded slightly, and tore off the Sharingan that was covered by the blindfold. With Sharingan in hand, no matter how powerful an enemy is, he can be close to each other 5 to 5. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 131 Sign In, 6 Paths Round Revolving Heaven Skill. Bang. 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 On the other side of the village, 2 beasts hammered Poros. But only to see Poros holding a shield, standing there. No matter how the tail beast hammered, he did not move. Sure enough, I became stronger. It was like this when I attacked Mr. Immortal and Mr. Saitama. Poros was ecstatic in his heart. He was able to withstand the hammering of others unscathed, even without feeling. This level of defensive ability is just a small step for Mr. Immortal. But this is an epic step for Poros. He is getting closer and closer to Mr. Immortal. Sure enough, only by following the strong and imitating the strong can you become the real strong. Poros sighed inwardly. He followed Senju forever and imitated his return to the basics. After receiving the help of fruit ability, he has firmly believed that he has really become stronger. Poros grinned, the cosmic energy surged throughout his body, and the rays of light shone. Xuanwu Cannon. He shouted violently, and the energy in his chest was transmitted to the shield. In an instant, the basalt shield burst out with dazzling purple light, and a light wave exploded out of an extremely wide area. Boom. The huge bodies of the 2 heads and tails flew directly into the air, and their chests were blown up by the purple light and screamed in pain. The light wave dissipated, and the momentum of the 2 head and tail beasts skyrocketing did not fade. Poros threw out his shield and smashed a head on at a beast at the same time he bounced. Suddenly, Poros' figure passed the tail beast. His whole body was shining brightly, and with a fierce momentum, he lifted his foot and fell. Boom. The tail beast that lifted off was directly under the blow, and instantly fell to the ground. The floor and eaves flew up, rolling up dust waves. Poros followed the momentum and hit the other beast with a punch. Boom! The terrifying force blasted the head and tail beast out of Konoha Village on the spot, crashing into a rolling mountain. This set of operations of Poros, I saw the ninjas in Konoha Village, and I admired them in my heart. So powerful, is this really the amiable Mr. Poros we usually see? Of course, who said that someone who is approachable can't be a strong one? Mr. Immortal is actually quite easygoing, but it's more homely and you have less contact. I have also heard that Mr. Immortal is still very easygoing, but the strength is also very strong, and Mr. Poros is brought back by Mr. Immortal. Okay, hurry up and see if there are any civilians who are trapped. If not, go and help deal with the summoning beasts that run away. A ninja yelled and stopped these ninjas from talking. Almost all the civilians in Konoha Village were escorted to the sanctuary, where the ninjas established a defensive enchantment to protect them. Now it has been evacuated 7 or 8. Outside Konoha Village, a summoning beast sneaked out of Konoha Village, and it ran all the way into the dark woods. Hell Road Pain stood there with a smile on his face. The summoning beast opened its mouth and spat out a few remains. Good job. Hell Road Pain smiled slightly, and immediately summoned the head of hell from the ground, and the purple flame burned slowly, just like the fire of hell. The hell stretched out his purple tongue, rolled the remains one by one in his mouth, and chewed slowly. After a while, Heavenly Dao Pain, Beast Dao Pain, and Human Dao Pain walked out of Yama's mouth at the same time. It seems that Konoha's biggest trouble is that mysterious immortal Mr. Tian Dao Pain walked out slowly and murmured. What he said was also Nagato's self-talk. Heavenly Path Pen was directly destroyed, resulting in a sharp reduction in combat power by half, which had a huge impact. It looks like you have to deal with this immortal first, Conan. Nagato yelled softly, hiding in the paper tree. The beautiful and graceful Conan approached slightly, motioning for him to continue. Nagato had a thin face and continued in a low voice. Go and work with my pen to destroy this Mr. Immortal. Otherwise, our plan will probably fail. His tone was full of helplessness, but he was not afraid. In Nagato's view, the abilities that Senju Chongsheng had just displayed were somewhat similar to the power of Shinra Tianzheng. Nagato believes that as long as he can act first, he can win with one move. Okay, I'll pass now. Conan Jiaorong nodded calmly, and then walked out to show the paper escape. White paper in the sky formed wings behind her, taking her beautiful body into the air and rushing straight to Konoha. Konoha Village, the longevity home. Senju Chongsheng condensed his fingertips with aura, and finally heaved a sigh of relief after finishing the final magic circle. Perfect. He clapped his hands and was very satisfied with his masterpiece. The roar of the village continued to sound in my ears, and the buildings were destroyed. But Senju Chongsheng didn't pay any attention at all. Instead, he went home for the first time to portray the magic circle to prevent the house from being destroyed. After he finished the magic circle, the tail beast had already been surrendered. System sign in. The reason why the number of check-ins has been kept up to now is mainly because Uchiha Itachi will take over as Hokage today. Although this is not part of the plot, Senju Chongsheng still holds a trace of anticipation, thinking about what special sign-in will be triggered. Unexpectedly, there is no special sign-in, but directly ushered in the story of Pain's attack on the village. Open black lens bracket ding. Trigger the plot check-in. Pain successfully checked in the village. Congratulations on getting 6 paths round revolving heaven merit, close black lens bracket. 6 paths wheel revolving heaven. Senju Chongsheng was taken aback for a moment. Before he had time to think about the origin of this technique, he saw a familiar figure flying above him. Huh? Come back so soon? Senju Chongsheng touched the back of his head, showing helplessness. He ignored the system's sign-in rewards, and now the enemy is coming again, and there is no time to care about it. It seems that Nagato hasn't realized it yet, but in fact he is weak and pitiful. Wow. Suddenly, the sky was filled with white papers, and Senju Chongsheng calmly grabbed one of them and fixed his eyes. Detonating talisman. The pieces of white paper in front of me are actually detonating symbols. Boom! Senju Chongsheng had just seen the talisman above, and the surrounding detonating talisman had already exploded. The roar resounded through the sky, and the terrifying explosion directly destroyed dozens of miles in a radius, and the fire and smoke covered nearby sight. Phew! A gust of wind swept through, and the flames and smoke dissipated in an instant. Senju stood on the spot intact, his face still calm, as if nothing had happened. He looked at Conan in the sky, and Heavenly Way Pain indifferently said, "It's fine if you don't learn the lesson just after being abused. You still dare to take a sister?" Heavenly Dao Pain stood high in the sky and said coldly, "Although your power surprised me, I am an immortal existence. I have thoroughly seen your method just now, and you won't have a second chance to succeed." Upon hearing this, Senju Chongsheng couldn't help being stunned. What did he do just now? It's just a casual blow, how can there be any means? This really confuses him. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 132 Super Shen Luo Tianzheng. Humans are stupid creatures that don't understand each other anyway. Tian Dao Pain didn't notice Senju Chongsheng's astonishment. He said in a cold voice, "They can't understand each other's pain. Only in pain can they know how the other person feels." Senju Chongsheng laughed and interrupted, "No, aren't you also a human being? Doesn't this mean that you are also scolding yourself?" His calm behavior was a great mockery in Nagato's eyes. HMPH, laugh, you won't be able to laugh from now on. From now on, I want to make the world feel painful. Tian Pain's arms widened and his momentum changed. The surroundings seemed to fall into silence at this moment, and he could no longer hear any explosions and noise in his ears. The vast chakra energy surged in the body, and every cell was cheering. Super Shenluo Tianzheng, Heavenly Wei Pain gave a cold voice. The sound was very small, but it spread throughout Konoha, like the sound of a god's punishment. Hum. An invisible force spread out from Heavenly Tao. Rumbling, anything touched by this layer of power will be wiped out and turned into dust. In this short instant, half of Konoha Village was razed to the ground. The pupils of the ninjas in Konoha Village suddenly shrank, including Uchiha Itachi and others, all shocked. A wave of invisible dust rushed in, as if the gods had cast down the punishment, destroying everything in front of them. Especially Uchiha Itachi, who just took office, looked gloomy. He rushed up first without hesitation. Shisui's eyes suddenly showed anxiety, and he also controlled Susanoo to keep up. Two Uchiha tribesmen who were not seen by many people in Konoha Village are now standing up. The two controlled the huge Susanoo and blocked the entire village, like two patron saints. Such a scene shocked and moved the hearts of the ninjas and the people behind. I come. Poros gave a violent shout and rushed to Itachi and Shisui with a large shield, and the cosmic energy burst out from his whole body. Now he has become stronger and his defense is amazing. How can this good test opportunity be left to others? Master 5th Generation. Mr. Shisui. Mr. Poros, the villagers stunned. Tsunade hurriedly yelled. Come back, you can't stop it, are you silly? Tsunade was so angry that he yelled at him, right? Is it true that her master doesn't exist? Where's the turn for them to block? Of course, Tsunade still understands why they did this behavior. The other villagers also know in their hearts that this is their love for Konoha and instinctively come forward. Whether or not they can block this wave of attacks, they will come forward. This is also the main reason the villagers will be moved by this. Senju Chongsheng smiled with joy, and immediately displayed the Flying Thunder God technique and came to the three of them. You did a good job, but it's not your turn to do this thing. He smiled softly, and stepped diagonally. The whole body's energy and blood turned into golden idols, roaring to the sky. The shock fruit ability was activated, and a punch came out. Boom! With a loud and deafening noise, the space in front of everyone suddenly shattered like glass. The unstoppable Chao Shenluo Tianzheng hit the crack, igniting black thunder and lightning. The crackling sound caused the ground to sink dozens of centimeters. The Heavenly Tao pen looked overwhelmed in the sky, and Conan's pre-face also showed surprise. Someone can actually block the Super Shenra Tianzheng with full firepower? Impossible. This blow has condensed my pain for many years and is my strongest blow. Tiandao Pain's face gradually distorted, and the picture suddenly changed. The anger in my heart grew stronger, and I felt unbelievable and unwilling to accept it. He roared angrily. How can you block the attack of the gods, Super Shenluo Tianzheng? Rumble. With the roar of Heavenly Wei Pain, Chakra's energy increased again. Chao Shenluo Tianzheng's expansion power has also increased, as if to destroy this world, rather than a small Konoha village. Nagato had only one thought in his heart at this moment, and that was to destroy the god who guarded Konoha. Catching 9 tails is no longer his main purpose. Sorry, Konoha's pain is above you, get me down. Senju Chongsheng's tone was flat, and Tianan's cultivation base burst out, forming a phantom, and he stuck out with one hand. Cover the sky with one hand. The power of the world is under his control, and the entire ninja world seems to fall into his hands, turning his hands into clouds and covering his hands into rain. An irresistible force suppressed above the head of Heavenly Tao Pain. Tiandao Pain's complexion changed, his hands suddenly slapped, and he shouted violently, planetary devastation. Since it is impossible to resist, then we shall die together. Anyway, this is just a puppet, and it can be resurrected after death. But if you can use planetary devastation to control the opponent, then you will make a lot of money. Suddenly, Tiandao Pain suddenly flew a restless black ball in his hand, reaching the sky above the clouds. The mud and rocks in the ruins rose into the sky, and a gravitational force spread from all directions, drawing Senju Chongsheng into the sky. However, no matter how powerful he was, he still couldn't make Senju standing below move half a point. Boom! The giant hand covering the sky slapped down on the spot. Tiandao Pain's body once again turned into a black line uncontrollably, and suddenly fell into the wasteland. Before Tiandao Pen was destroyed, Nagato immediately transferred the locked target from Senju Chongsheng to Kushina behind. Puff! Tiandao Pain was blasted to pieces again, and Nagato in the paper tree took a few deep breaths and pushed the wheelchair out. He needs to be closer to Konoha to be able to make Heavenly Tao exert a more powerful force. Hell Road Pen didn't wait any longer, and broke directly into Konoha, calling Hades once again. Conan immediately released the paper clone and stood in front of the Hades to prevent anyone from destroying the resurrection process of Heavenly Tao Pain. Huh? Minato save me! Just as Senju Chongsheng was about to slap Yama, the sound of exclamation came from the rear in vain. Kushina's body rose into the air uncontrollably, and a large amount of rubble rushed towards her. Kushina! Namikaze Minato yelled anxiously, and the shuriken suddenly threw out. He planned to use Flying Thunder God and came to Kushina's side and brought her back directly. Unexpectedly, at this moment, a paper gun fired sharply, making a sound of breaking through the air. Ding! Namikaze Minato's shuriken was hit by a paper gun, and Kushina's palm passed the shuriken. Boom! Giggle giggle. Kushina's beautiful body hit the rock wall in midair and was buried in layers of soil and rock at a speed visible to the naked eye. Mr. Immortal, please save Kushina, please, Namikaze Minato said eagerly. The only person who can help him right now is the invincible Mr. Immortal. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 133 Nine Tails Runaway. In the few short breaths that everyone was stunned, Heavenly Dao Pain had already stood up again. Six Paths Pain assembled again, and the tail beast that was blown up staggered to his feet, and his injuries were quickly recovering. There are also Immortal Hidan and Kakuzu, who also walked to the side of Six Paths Pain. Their faces were bright, and there was no discomfort. Only Sasori looked extremely tired, with the third case cage puppet floating above him and thousands of puppets with different weapons behind him. It is also like a puppet, with a lot of mechanical rotation on its body. Sasori, step back a bit and leave the rest to us, Tiandao Pain said calmly. Nagato is already very close to Konoha. It can be said that it is almost at the entrance of Konoha Village. The Heavenly Dao Pen at this moment is enough to play the strongest Shenluo Tianzhong. Even release the true planetary devastation, and it will not be a problem to easily seal the entire Konoha. Konoha's defeat is set. Let's feel the pain next. Tiandao Pain stepped forward. Above is Kushina, sealed by planetary devastation, and there is no movement inside. Nine Tails Jinchuriki, the capture is successful. Look at the current Konoha, and then look at our side. Konoha has been defeated very thoroughly. The legendary Mr. Immortal is nothing more than that. Nagato sneered through Heavenly Way Pain. After getting closer to Konoha, Nagato's tone became harder. In his opinion, the so-called Mr. Immortal is exaggerated. At the entrance of the village, Nagato smiled triumphantly on that thin face. The villain is determined. Tsunade snorted in dissatisfaction. My master hasn't used all his strength yet. Do you really think you have won? In the face of this deadly atmosphere, she could still have the mood to quarrel with each other. It can be seen that Tsunade has blind confidence in his master. Nagato sneered inwardly, thinking that the other party was just a dead duck. Now that Nine Tails has been successfully captured, what else can be said? Is it possible that he can directly smash his planetary devastation? That can imprison the existence of the tail beast. How could it be easily exploded by people? Slap. At this time, several rubble fell from the planetary devastation. Tiandao Pain moved inwardly and raised his head blankly. I saw planetary devastation, which looked like a bright moon in the sky, and began to tremble slightly, and the shaking became more and more intense. Senju Chongsheng saw through the real eyes of the evil king that the Kushina in the planetary devastation inside was gradually expanding and getting bigger. It's in the middle of tailbeastization. I'll save Kushina, but then again, does Kushina control the tailbeastization ability? Senju asked in confusion. When Namikaze Minato heard the words, her face suddenly became embarrassed. Although she can communicate with Nine Tails and seal Nine Tails steadily, if she borrows her strength, it will. With Kushina's personality, it's impossible to calm down and talk to Nine Tails. Either on the way to eating, drinking and having fun, or talking about 8 trigrams with your girlfriends. Does she need to control the power of Nine Tails? With Namikaze Minato covering her, there is no need to think about those things. I don't have control, then I'm going to run away now. Senju Chongsheng's tone is still flat, and he doesn't take Nine Tails' runaway seriously. As for why Kushina chose to be a tail animal, it was purely because she was too crazy. Tiandao Pain, who controls planetary devastation, felt the changes inside and couldn't help laughing. It's so stupid to let Nine Tails run away. Konoha Village is destined to. Don't talk so much nonsense. Senju Chongsheng interrupted the other party on the spot and said to Konoha's person. Leave this guy and Nine Tails to me, and you can solve the others by yourself, is it okay? Don't worry, teacher, we will definitely complete the task, Uchiha Itachi said sternly. If this can't be solved, he doesn't need to be a 5th Hokage anymore. Boom. Suddenly, the planetary devastation above suddenly exploded, and Nine Tails completely fell from it. There was a loud bang. Nine Tails landed steadily on the ground, shaking out a mud puddle, spurring off sand and rocks. After many years, I finally came out again. I really thank you for your help that forced Kushina to let me out. Nine Tails grinned at Tiandao Pain, and a joke flashed in his eyes. This little human being really knows how to live and die. It is stupid to dare to let it go. If you are grateful, kill Konoha for me, Tiandao Pain said coldly. Nine Tails showed disdain, but still looked towards Konoha. But when it saw Senju Zhongsheng with a smile on his face, his heart jumped and his soul flew away. Isn't this guy the monster who suppressed it that day? Ninetales was embarrassed in his heart. Although it was very angry that day, it was also true that it could not be beaten. By the way, why is this guy so young, not old at all? Senju Chongsheng didn't put Ninetales in his eyes and took a step forward before he could make a move. Ninetales, who had been staring at him, suddenly looked like a cat with fried hair, frightened and took a step back. Senju was taken aback for a moment, and then smiled. Interesting, are you scared? How is it possible, tiny human? Ninetales opened her fangs and shouted in a deep voice. The crimson chakra flows out from its body, and the evil attributes make people shudder. In that case, you can't blame me. Senju Chongsheng chuckled and stepped forward again. Chakra rushed out from the soles of his feet. The cold breath filled the surroundings, and a layer of ice crystals and frost appeared on the ground. Boom! In an instant, a huge block of ice with a height of 100 meters and a thickness of 10 meters rose from the ground. Like an ice dragon soaring into the sky, you want to swallow Ninetales in one bite. The battle broke out in vain, and the ninja on Konoha's side was taken aback, then immediately locked on their respective targets and rushed forward. Ninetales, Akatsuki and others hurriedly dodged, but the ice cube's target was locked on Ninetales. Even if it jumped and avoided, it was still trapped by the ice on its two hind legs. Tailed beast bomb, with the power of ruining the world, condenses in the mouth of Ninetales. Suddenly, the world dimmed a bit at this moment, and the surging spiritual energy gathered. Boom! The tailed beast bomb shot out quickly, scrolling the aura of heaven and earth to destroy everything. Senju Chongsheng punched the void and forcibly blocked the flying tailed beast bomb. The yin and yang escape energy fluctuations exploded between the two, and the terrifying roar shook everyone's eardrums. The scorching energy made the earth burn for it, and the hot mud turned into magma flowing at this moment, and the scene was terrifying. This guy's abilities are a bit weird. You deal with other people, Conan will go with me. Tiandao Pain shouted sharply, and immediately slapped both hands. The indescribable chakra surged out of his body. True planetary devastation. Rumble! In an instant, the ground of the entire Konoha village shattered inch by inch, and huge rocks rose into the sky. An indescribable gravitational force will pull Senju Chongsheng into the sky. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 134 Sluggish Nagato had to apply all the gravity to Senju Chongsheng. A true planetary devastation that can seal Konoha Village, but now only targets Senju Chongsheng. One can imagine how much Nagato attaches great importance to Senju's longevity. After Conan received instructions, he immediately rose into the air, blasting a large number of detonating charms from his wings, trying to disrupt Senju's longevity. That's it? If your strength is so little, I'm afraid it's not enough to move me. Senju Chongsheng sneered and took out the black knife Chusui from the system space. Truth-seeking ball suddenly appeared behind him, transformed into an umbrella on top of his head. The sky-detonating talisman hit the truth-seeking ball and burst into a roar, but it did not affect Senju's longevity. The breath of the sun, the shape of the land, the bone-scorching sun. He grinned, his figure flashed in front of Tiandao Pain, and a torrent of flame burned on the knife. The rotating blade showed a crimson arc, slashing and slashing with flames. While the black knife Chusui slashed, it drove the burning flames around and gathered one after another. Hoop! Senju Chongsheng's knife used the Golden Emperor burning sky flame, and the golden flames were brilliant. Just like Vulcan's control of heaven and earth, all flames jumped for it, and the scene was extremely shocking. The fiery energy made Tiandao Pain's complexion change. If he died again now, I am afraid there would be no chance to resurrect. Pen, the Hell Road in the distance, has been spotted by the Konoha shinobi and is desperately fleeing. Universal pull. In a desperate situation, Tiandao Pain used the palm of his hand to forcibly suck the Ninetales that had just broken out of the ice. Shit. Senju Chongsheng's knife hit Ninetales on the spot, giving off the smell of charcoal grilled meat. The intense pain made Ninetales scream, and the crimson fur was still burning with golden flames. Ninetales suddenly rolled back and forth on the ground in pain, and the scarlet chakra crazily poured into the wound. Tiandao Pain was shocked, watching Ninetales put out the fire for a long time before finally extinguishing the burning flame. Earth-shaking changes occurred in his heart. What kind of flame is this? Ninetales' chakra will take so long to extinguish. Nagato, who was sitting at the gate of the village, looked gloomy and watery, obviously because Senju's strength was far beyond his expectations. A super-large planetary devastation, far larger than the previous size, is being condensed at an astonishing speed. But the person to be sealed still stands on the ground. The black knife Chusui in his hand has been pulled out again. The breath of the sun, the shape of picking one, the dragon of the sun halo head dance. The golden emperor burning Tianyan burned to the point that the blade was full of golden light, and the underworld Chusui waved a fire dragon in the air. Twisting his huge body like a wandering dragon, wanting to be swept by the heavenly Wei Pen. Shen Luo Tianzheng, Tiandao Pain hurriedly yelled. Boom! The golden fire dragon collided with the invisible Shen Luo Tianzheng, bursting out a monstrous flame. The splattering flame caused the surrounding temperature to rise. Call out! Suddenly, a truth-seeking ball turned into a sharp arrow and pierced out, directly piercing the defense of Shenluo Tianzheng. Fiery flames poured in from the breach, burning Heavenly Dao Pain on the spot. Conan in the air finally couldn't stand it anymore, and sheets of paper engraved with detonating symbols fell down. The detonation talisman is like no money, and falls in a waterfall like a cascade in the air. Perhaps this is how the rich fight. Boom 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 boom. A series of explosions sounded continuously between Senju Chongsheng and Tiandao Pain, and the roar was continuous. The monstrous fire was dazzling, and the explosion shook hundreds of miles. The big pits that had been destroyed into wasteland were all under this explosion, exploding a huge gully, hundreds of meters deep. Many of the Konoha shinobi who were fighting in the sky obscured the field of vision. Guru! Guru! As the smoke cleared the sky, the figures of Senju Chongsheng and others gradually came into view. The hot flames on the ground were pulled by a suction. The Golden Emperor burning Skyflame, sacrificed by Senju Chongsheng, is constantly devouring flames and strengthening himself. In less than a moment, all the flames were absorbed by the Golden Emperor burning Tianyan. Tiandao Pain's Shao organization robe was burned to black ashes at this moment. And he himself lay on the ground and gasped, with a sharp arrow made of truth-seeking ball stuck in his chest, which was nailed to the ground and could not move. Conan landed in front of Heavenly Path Pen, preventing Senju from rushing forward. She wanted to pull out the truth-seeking ball in the past, but the jade hand was burnt and bloody. At the same time that Senju Zhongsheng started fighting, the ninjas of Konoha Village also officially started fighting with Akatsuki. Nine Tails fell into weakness due to her own injury. At this moment, it has been sealed by the Konoha shinobi, restricting the ability to move. Namikaze Minato approached Nine Tails and began to cast the seal technique. As for the other members of Akatsuki's organization, they were unilaterally crushed. Without the help of Heavenly Dao Pain, Akatsuki's combat power here can be said to have been reduced by more than half. In addition, Konoha nowadays is much stronger than in the original work. Therefore, in less than hundreds of rounds, everyone was put to death. Kakuzu was joined by Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke, and the three of them blasted all of Kakuzu's heart together. This man who lived the same life as heaven and earth ended his life. As for the other Hidan, known as the Immortal, he was trapped by Kisame with water style, which restricted his mobility. Hidan's strength lies in his immortality, but after imprisoning him, he is easily defeated. Even Kisame, who has Hidan ability, couldn't be easier to control the opponent. At this moment, Uchiha Itachi was beating the tail beast in the distance, as if he had received a reminder from Kisame. Suddenly looking back, Hitomi Shu Amaterasu is launched. Wow! The imprisoned Hidan, under the scream, was abruptly burned into ashes by the black fire of Amaterasu. In the end, Sasori, who controlled the performance of 100 machines, was torn the wind shadow puppet with his bare hands by Tsunade, and he was kicked to the heart by Tsunade. Those thousands of puppets were all destroyed under the joint efforts of the major families in Konoha Village. The remaining head and tail beasts. Under the pressure of Poros, Shisui, Itachi, and Orochimaru, they were printed one by one. Senju Chongsheng glanced faintly at Tiandao Pain, who was lying on the ground, and Conan, who was standing here particularly embarrassed. At this moment, she is not going in, nor is she going to retreat. Neither she nor Nagato, they did not expect that they would lose so fast. The biggest reason is that they underestimated Senju's strength. And from Senju's longevity, it seems that he didn't use all his strength at all, as if he was playing with them. You have already lost, what do you think? Senju Chongsheng slowly retracted the black knife Shusui, and an aura popped from his fingertips. Rumble. The real planetary devastation in the sky exploded on the spot, and a large amount of rubble was gradually turned into dust and scattered on the way of falling. With such a scene, Nagato's heart jumped suddenly. While embarrassing, there were beads of sweat flowing on his forehead. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 135. Nagato had laughed at each other in his heart before, and it was absolutely impossible to break his planetary devastation. As a result, now the other party just flicked his finger, so big planetary devastation, it exploded like that. Even if the Heyday Nagato did it by himself, he couldn't do it. Planetary devastation exploded with just a handful of flicks. It is conceivable that Senju was just playing with them from the beginning to the end of his long life. Why? Don't you speak? You have caused us pain. Senju Zhongsheng laughed and gathered the magic array. The emerald green light suddenly bloomed, and the magic array directly enveloped the entire Konoha village. All the ninjas in the village gathered their eyes and couldn't understand what Mr. Immortal was doing. But everyone clearly felt that the rich vitality was converging in all directions. Those who were injured in this battle were surprised to find that their injuries were healing at an astonishing speed. Even those who lack arms and legs are beginning to be reborn with severed limbs. So comfortable. What is this green light? It's such a strong breath of life. Is this Mr. Immortal's ability? Isn't it too powerful? The ninjas and civilians exclaimed. My legs have grown out, ha 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 ha, am I not dreaming? My legs have actually grown out. A ninja whose thigh was bitten by a summoning beast in the battlefield cried with joy. He slapped himself several times and confirmed that this is not a dream. My arms have grown out too. Are all this given by Mr. Immortal? It's amazing. The man who recovered his arms said excitedly. The same scene continued to be played around, and the civilians and ninjas were plunged into madness and excitement. But Senju's magic circle is not a healing magic, it's the resurrection magic. The reason for the healing effect is entirely because this resurrection magic is superposition magic. The strong vitality healed the wounded incidentally. The next scene completely scared everyone present. Including the apprentices of Senju Chongsheng, they finally saw the terrifying power of their master once again. The emerald green magic circle covered the ground, and those corpses and fragments all sank into the middle-aged magic circle. Immediately after the magic circle was released, the magic circle began to rise slowly. Those ninjas, civilians, pets, and even poultry who died in this disaster. All were gradually emerging in this ascending magic circle. The people around were dull and thought they were dazzled. The partners and family members who died just now are standing in front of them alive. Those who were resurrected were even more dazed, even thinking that this place was the so-called paradise. How is it possible? Nagato was completely stunned. Lord Madara left him with Rinnegan. Only after he activates the revolving heaven technique can he resurrect others. The price is the life of the user. Among them, the longer the resurrected object dies and the more people are resurrected, the more chakra will be consumed. But at the moment Senju's method of longevity does not see any limitations or side effects at all. Talk and laugh, resurrect all the dead. This is more than 1 billion points better than Rinnegan. Teacher, the tail beasts have all been sealed, and the enemies have all given their heads. Only these two are left. What should I do? Uchiha Itachi flew in front of Senju Chongsei and said in awe. Senju Chongsheng's resurrection ability shocked everyone present. At this moment, he is the god in the shinobi world. Whoever lives and dies is under his control. His body is still standing at the entrance of the village. Let someone bring it over first. Senju Chongsheng did not say whether to kill the opponent, but instead let Nagato, who was sitting at the door, come first. Both of these are Jiraiya's disciples, so let them talk to Jiraiya in person. After all, his thoughts moved, and his spiritual energy was suppressed on the spot. Tiandao Pain's body suddenly collapsed like a tile, turning into dust, which was blown away by a breeze. The outcome is determined, and Konoha Village is almost completely destroyed. But because of Senju's longevity magic, no one was injured or killed. On Akatsuki's side, only Nagato and Konan remained. The 6-tailed beasts were all sealed in the jar. 9 tails was also sealed back into Kushina's body again. Namikaze Minato carried the unconscious Kushina to an open position and waited for her to wake up. Nagato at the entrance of the village did not take the initiative to enter, still unable to recover from the shock. Senju's longevity method is too unthinkable and subverts his 3 views. The defeat was so sudden and so thorough that he fell into confusion. Yo, you are the disciple of teacher Jiraiya, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. At this moment, a young man walked slowly with a bright smile on his face. As if he had seen friends for many years, he walked behind Nagato very kindly and pushed Nagato towards Senju Chongsheng. Ruins in Konoha. Senju Chongsheng took out a rocking chair from his undamaged home and lay down leisurely. Tsunade was soaking fragrant tea on the side, and the breeze blowing by, the tea fragrance overflowed, making people feel comfortable. Under the impetus of Naruto, Nagato came to Konan. Goodbye to these 2 disciples who once had only one-side relationship. Jiraiya feels very complicated. He had taken the initiative to look for it before, but he didn't even see Nagato's face. Unexpectedly, the once sunny boy has now become this way. The old and skinny face looked like a dying old man, as if he would sleep forever in the next second. This is all because Nagato used Rinnegan's power to summon the Geto statue, which led to this appearance. His vitality is almost exhausted, and his lifespan is not long. Mr. Immortal, please be merciful, these 2 children are just 2 of the 3 I said back then. Jiraiya walked to Senju Chongsheng and bowed deeply. To be honest, he was actually quite embarrassed. Especially this behavior of Nagato destroyed more than half of Konoha. In other words, apart from Senju Chongsheng's house, there are almost no complete houses. If it weren't for Senju Jongsei's resurrection magic, this time Akatsuki's damage to Konoha would have been even more painful. It doesn't matter to me whether to kill or not, you should ask the villagers if they agree. Senju Chongsheng took the teacup handed by Hinata and replied leisurely. Nagato and Konan are not bad in nature. Senju Chongsheng had promised Jiraiya before that they would let him take care of them. It's a pity that Jiraiya didn't find them, and now he was hit by the other side instead. How to deal with these 2 people? Senju Chongsheng actually doesn't bother to think so much. If the civilians who have suffered pain are willing to forgive, then why not spare their lives? Anyway, there are no dead people in Konoha Village. This is the demolition and reconstruction, which will cost more money. For this loss, wouldn't it be better for Konan to compensate? Jiraiya was shocked when he heard the words, and then he realized. It should be the people of Konoha Village who should really be explained, not the consent of Mr. Immortal. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 136. Jiraiya, who woke up, couldn't help turning around. Looking at the group of villagers behind, the villagers who have not yet awakened from the joy of recovery. Jiraiya took a deep breath and said loudly, "Villagers, I hope I can ask you one thing." His voice attracted the attention of all nearby villagers. Everyone looked at each other and didn't understand what Lord Jiraiya was going to do. But his next words immediately caused an uproar in the village. "I'm very sorry, these two remaining members of the Akatsuki organization were the disciples I taught when I went out on a mission many years ago. They have acted like this, and I apologize for it, it's because of what I taught." Jiraiya bowed deeply to the people in the village, and said sincerely, "I hope everyone can let go of their hatred and forgive their faults. In the future, I will definitely teach these two children strictly, and strive to make them the guardians of Konoha and the willed fire of the new generation." Wow, a few short sentences contain a lot of information. Two of the Akatsuki members turned out to be disciples of Jiraiya. And it was the culprit who destroyed Konoha. Now that Jiraiya actually wants them to forgive each other, how can it be easily accepted? Although they were all resurrected by Mr. Immortal, the pain of death is still fresh in their memory. Jiraiya-sama's words make it difficult for us to deal with. Actually, it is not impossible to forgive, after all, none of us was injured or killed. No casualties? That is the existence of Mr. Immortal, otherwise we would have died long ago. You haven't tasted the pain of death, you are not qualified to comment at all. But have you ever thought that everyone makes mistakes, and we should treat them with love and peace in order to reduce the continuation of hatred? They destroyed our home. How can we forgive them? That's right, who will pay for Konoha's loss this time? The voice of opposition is so loud that even if someone is willing to forgive, it is only a minority. The thought of love and peace is very difficult to realize in this world. It is precisely because of this that the original Nagato and others have embarked on this path. Hearing the opposition from the people around, Jiraiya's complexion became extremely ugly. What the villagers said, has he never thought about it? Standing between the disciples and the village, Jiraiya is actually more uncomfortable than the villagers. He understood the thinking of both sides very well, but the villagers could not understand Nagato and others. Under everyone's discussion, Naruto couldn't bear to stand up. "Dear villagers, do you want the hatred to continue?" Naruto and Jiraiya fought side by side, and said sternly, "Hatred is the source of war, and only by letting go of hatred can we end this. As the head of Shinobu Village, why can't we be the ones who take the lead in letting go of hatred? Mutual understanding and tolerance can build a beautiful and peaceful world. My disciple attacked my village. In fact, it is not you who are the most painful, but teacher Jiraiya." The moment Naruto spoke, the surroundings fell into silence. The following long talk sublimated the theme in an instant. From contradictions to war, to tolerance and understanding, love and peace. Everyone was stunned by Naruto's words, because what he said really made sense. To end the continuation of hatred, one party must take the initiative to let go of hatred. Konoha, as the leader of the ninja village, should have the courage of Omura to be admired by all forces in the ninja world. To have love and peace, we must first understand and tolerate. Naruto's words have a bit of truth, and he deserves to be Hokage's son. Indeed, we are the leader of Ninja Village, so we should show a different courage than others. Isn't it just letting go of hatred? As the head of Shinobu Village, we should take the lead in maintaining peace, but we can't let others read the jokes. Speaking of pain, Master Jiraiya is the most uncomfortable. He is caught in the middle, with a disciple on one side and a village on the other. We should stand more from each other's perspective to understand each other. Come on, Master Jiraiya, we forgive you. Yes, we can let go of our hatred and set an example for the shinobi world. The villagers yelled in unison, raising their arms to support, with big smiles on their faces. Tears flickered in Jiraiya's eyes, looking at Naruto with a complex expression, with mixed feelings in his heart. Nagato and Konan, who were fidgeting, were also shocked by this scene. They believe that there is no understanding and tolerance in the world, and they have established a decision to give the world pain. But now Naruto's words and the behavior of Konoha village people slapped them in the face fiercely. There is understanding and tolerance in the world, and it seems that love and peace are not too difficult. Senju Chongsheng, who was sitting on a recliner sipping tea, was almost choked by the tea. He stared at this scene dumbfounded. Is this how powerful the mouth is? Love, turn the situation around instantly. Thank you, Naruto. Jiraiya put his big hand on Naruto's head and grinned. Ha! Everything comes from your teaching from Mr. Jiraiya, Naruto responded with a smile. Jiraiya smiled softly and didn't say much about it, everything was said without saying. He walked towards Senju Chongsheng again, the gloom on his face had long since disappeared. Mr. Immortal? He laughed and asked questions. Senju Chongsheng waved his hand, since the villagers agree, so be it. From now on, they will be monitored by Konoha, and they can move freely until the contribution reaches the standard. Jiraiya and Naruto thanked them at the same time, and then turned and retreated. Senju Chongsheng did not stay any longer, got up and walked home. His apprentices did not follow. The Konoha village outside needs reconstruction work, Tsunade and Uchiha Itachi are busy. Hinata is also a Konoha shinobi now, so naturally he has to help. Konoha finally calmed down. In less than a day, from a prosperous village to half a ruin, it is embarrassing. After Senju Chongsheng returned home, he sat cross-legged and took out the sign in reward in his mind. 6 paths wheel revolving heaven power. In the perfect world, the inheritance method of the Supreme Palace. What is recorded in it is not only the practice technique, but also the boxing technique. The boxing method is called 6 paths reincarnation boxing. There are 6 types in total, one of the 6 paths. The perfect world is the predecessor of the world of the sky, so the power system of the perfect world can correspond to the world of the sky. This exercise can produce different effects from the exercises that Yifan uploaded. And 6 paths reincarnation boxing is also a very powerful boxing method, and its exquisiteness is far above that of flowing water broken rock boxing. In this world, nothing is immortal, including this world, there will be an end after all. The 6 paths wheel revolving heaven is very prosperous, but Senju is already in the realm of heavenly sovereign. The mood of the first sentence of the opening sentence was immediately resolved. End? There is an end in the world, but people can be immortal. Senju Chongsheng directly disagrees with this. There is no immortality in the world, then he will become this unprecedented immortality. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 137 Rinnegan changes to Yahiko for the 6 paths wheel revolving heaven skill. Senju does not intend to directly practice the above power system. In any case, the 6 paths wheel revolving heaven power comes from the perfect world. Although that system was very strong, the power system of the future generations was created by Emperor Wangtian. Huang Tiandi also learned the 6 paths wheel revolving heaven skill, but he still created the power system behind the sky. It can be said that the Zetian system was created by the Wangtian Emperor condensing the exercises he has learned throughout his life. The shading system is actually more powerful, therefore, it is better to directly practice the exercises that Yifan uploaded. As for the 6 paths wheel revolving heaven skill, Senju Chongsheng used it to comprehend at most to see the difference in evolution between the 2 different power systems. However, this 6 paths reincarnation boxing is very practical, and Senju does not reject it, and even feels that he has gained quite a lot. Senju Chongsheng once again fell into retreat practice, carefully comprehending the 6 paths wheel revolving heaven kung fu and the 6 paths reincarnation boxing. For several days, Senju Chongsheng was immersed in it and could hardly extricate himself from it. When he woke up, many matters in Konoha Village had been in order. Nagato and Conan were successfully forgiven by the villagers, but whether they can accept them depends on their future performance. The 2 reported to Konaha about Akatsuki's secrets. It turned out that the leader was not Nagato, but there was someone behind the scenes. That is Uchiha Obito, who is disguised as Madara, and there is a mysterious origin. Nagato only knew that the man was a masked man, calling himself Madara, and did not know that this man was Obito. He has always known that the masked man is not Uchiha Madara at all. But the masked man has an extraordinary relationship with Uchiha Madara. Therefore, Nagato has not pursued the identity of this person, only knows that he has worked for Madara, working hard to implement the plan of the month. Masked Man? On the night of 9 tails, I played against him, and his abilities are very strange, Namikaze Minato said sternly while sitting in the makeshift conference room. Uchiha Itachi squeezed his chin and said seriously, this person has always called himself Madara and has a close relationship with Ju. I guess this person may belong to the Uchiha clan. Only Mangekyo Sharingan can do his mysterious power. The Konoha executives were slightly stunned, feeling that Itachi was not joking. People of the Uchiha clan suspect that the messenger behind the scenes is from his own family? This is a bit confusing. Is this self-defeating? Since the Battle of Pain, Itachi and Shisui have come forward and have completely captured the trust of the villagers. Now the Uchiha clan is no longer a family ostracized by the villagers, but rather popular. The whole village suddenly felt that these guys, who were cold outside and hot inside, were quite cute. There are indeed many geniuses in the Uchiha family, but there are very few who can possess that kind of strength. Tsunade was also in the conference hall and said solemnly, there are very few people with this level of strength in the ninja world. Namikaze Minato's strength is very strong. People who can play against him are at least cage level. Such a powerful ninja may be able to hide his identity, but his past cannot be concealed. But how does this masked man do it? There isn't even any previous deeds. For a while, the conference room fell into silence. They always feel that they have missed some key points, but they can't think of which point. If Kakashi were here, he would definitely put forward immediately about his understanding of Mangekyo. I am afraid that this important matter needs to be discussed with other shinobu villages, especially the plan for that month. Namikaze Minato said with a thoughtful expression on his face. It really needs the power of other ninja villages. This is not about Konoha Village, but about the entire ninja world. Sarutobi Hiruzen, smoking a pipe, pours out smoke and said lightly, but before that, what should I do with the 6-tailed beasts that I caught? Sell it or use it yourself. Tsunade smiled and said casually. This sentence is like a joke, but it comes from her heart. She believed that if she asked Master, she would definitely get the same reply. It is absolutely impossible to go back or something. They paid the price of half a ninja village for this, how could it be sent back to other ninja villages? When everyone heard Tsunade's words, they couldn't help choking. As expected of Mr. Immortal's disciple, he really didn't take other shinobu villages seriously. Konoha Chongsheng's home. Senju Chongsheng just finished his training and walked out of the room. I saw Hinata walking with graceful steps, and a gentle smile appeared on her delicate face, whispering softly. Master, Nagato and Konan have been waiting for you outside for several days. They seem to be asking for something. Nagato and Konan. Then let them in. Senju Chongsheng said casually. He could probably guess what the two of them were looking for. It's nothing more than seeing that he has the ability to resurrect others, and I want to ask him for help. As he expected, Hinata brought in Nagato and Konan. Sitting in a wheelchair, Nagato went straight to the point and said, Hello Mr. Immortal, I am here only for one thing. I want to know if you have the ability to resurrect Yahiko? His straightforward way of speaking also makes Senju feel more comfortable. Yahiko, is it the third child Jiraiya said? Of course, but, what can you do for this? Senju Chongsheng responded with a smile. When they heard that they could be resurrected, both Nagato and Konan were overjoyed. As long as Mr. Immortal can resurrect Yahiko, the three of us will be driven by Mr. Immortal from now on, Nagato said emotionally. Senju Chongsheng smiled softly, even if I don't resurrect, you two still have to follow my drive. Your proposal is worthless. As soon as this statement came out, it seemed like a basin of cold water was poured on the heads of Nagato and Konan. Yes, they have now sent them away. Such a request really has no effect. I can give Rinnegan to you. Nagato immediately made a decision with a serious face. If a pair of Rinnegan can be exchanged for the rebirth of Yahiko, it is very worthwhile. Okay, it's a deal. Your Rinnegan waits to Orochimaru in the laboratory. Senju Chongsheng said lightly, as if he didn't know what Rinnegan was. But Nagato is not stupid. How could such a tough Mr. Immortal not know Rinnegan? The pure power of Rinnegan has absolutely no effect on Mr. Immortal. Yes, thank you very much. Nagato became excited again. He wanted to get up and bow, but he couldn't do anything. Can only bend hard to show gratitude. Konan also bowed to Senju Chongsheng. His cold pretty face showed a touch of rosy because of his emotions. Seeing this attitude of the other party made Senju very satisfied. He directly raised his hand to condense the resurrection magic, and Yahiko's corpse had long been refined into Heavenly Path Pen. Now it is crushed into dust by Senju's aura, but the place where he turns into dust is near Konoha. So if you want to resurrect Yahiko, just extract the ashes nearby. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 138 Beatrice has been reset again. The resurrection process is not difficult, it's just that there are more lines on the resurrection magic circle. Senju's longevity aura condenses his fingertips to depict the emerald green magic array in the void. Suddenly, majestic vitality rushed around, making the surrounding vegetation emit a bright green light. Because Nagato's attitude is very good, Senju Chongsheng took advantage of the opportunity to infiltrate Nagato's body with a strong vitality. Since you are going to hand in Rinnegan, then I will let you grow a new pair of eyes to avoid blindness. Senju Chongsheng's voice fell, and his aura, like two tiny snakes, plunged directly into Nagato's eyes. Laugh. Nagato only felt that his eyes suddenly darkened, and the lavender Rinnegan was immediately swept out by the aura. There is no resistance. Senju Chongsheng wants to deprive him of Rinnegan, just a thought. Pain came from his eyes, but immediately, a warm current poured into Nagato's limbs, and at the same time he eliminated the stinging in his eyes. In less than a moment, the darkness in front of us ushered in light. The familiar back in front of him made Nagato startled. It is Yahiko who was resurrected by Senju Jongsei. How many years hasn't seen each other? Nagato felt that everything around him seemed a little unreal. He didn't even notice, he had stood up and walked slowly towards his former partner. Yahiko. Is that you? Are you really resurrected? Nagato said hoarsely. Yahiko himself was also shocked. He looked at Konan in disbelief, heard the voice behind him, and turned his head back abruptly. I saw that the Nagato at this moment has been restored as before. Both sides remain the same, just like the moment before the death of the two. With the help of Senju's vitality, Nagato has completely got rid of his skinny appearance and has returned to the healthy youth he once was. The two didn't say much, and hugged each other directly. Yahiko doesn't know what happened, but feels that the price of resurrection is definitely not simple. At this moment, Nagato's brain has fallen into a blank. Senju Chongsheng did not disturb them, and supported Rinnegan with aura and handed it to Konan, who was barely calm. Calmly said, You will give Rinnegan to Orochimaru. After the task is completed, let's talk to them again. Konan suddenly recovered, tears flickering in her beautiful eyes, and she nodded lightly. An alluring smile appeared on her delicate and icy face, which looked very beautiful. After entrusting the business, Senju Chongsheng turned around and returned to the courtyard. Hinata followed in with a small step, placed go very naturally, and started making tea for master. Having followed Senju for so long, not only Tsunade has developed the habit of making tea, but Hinata also does the same. Her tea-making skills are not much worse than Tsunade. While enjoying tea at a leisurely pace, Senju also logged into the 10,000 Realms chat group. Only by looking at it did I discover that the chat group had actually exploded. Beatrice actually asked again, when did the newcomer join? Beatrice. I really want to swear, it must be Mr. Tony who talks too much swearing. Tony Stark. Please, what's the matter with me? It's obviously that the situation on your side is too bad, causing you to be gaff now. Beatrice. My fuck really cracked. Chiamon Tanjiro. Calm down, calm. Mr. Immortal may be in retreat, so it is not online yet, don't mess around. Gojo Satoru. Ahahaha, it's really interesting, that Naoki Subaru must have committed suicide on the spot, so he reset the time. Limrutran Pest. He was also a cruel man. He actually committed suicide. How did he commit suicide? Was it wiping his neck? It was too painful, right? Jin Muyan. Wiping the neck is not painful. When the centipede penetrates into the ear and someone asks you about addition and subtraction, it is the most painful. Izumi Sagiri. Brother Jinmu is terrible, Yun Yun. Can you not say such horrible words? It scared my family Suwujong. Ainzel Christine. I didn't expect that Beatrice would be so angry that she would be swearing one day. Senju Chongsheng. What happened just after coming out of retreat? Judging from the information chatted by the group members, it seems that the time on Beatrice's side has been reset again. Could it be that Subaru Nayuki died in the Marvel world, and then it was Beatrice's world that was reset? Probably not. Is the jealous witch so powerful? Tanjiro Chiamon. Ah, Mr. Immortal is finally here? Yifan. Mr. Immortal finally appeared, and Beatrice was about to blow up. Tony Stark. Ahem. Let me explain the situation. Tony Stark. Yes, a few days ago, Beatrice made a mistake when she tried to trick Subaru into the crossing. Yifan. Kaewi Subaru committed suicide and reset the time directly before crossing to Marvel. Miss Beatrice lost her memory again. Tony Stark. Tisk. Why are you stealing my words? Yifan. I'm sorry, but I just think you are speaking too slowly, like counting words in the water. Tony Stark. I'm talking about the details of the matter. Senju Chongsheng's mouth twitched slightly. Okay, don't argue about these meaningless things, I probably know the situation. In short, it was Subaru Nayuki who realized that Beatrice was going to take him to other places. In order not to leave here, he directly chose to commit suicide and then reset the time. You know, Subaru Nayuki has a memory. Knowing that Beatrice is going to be against him, she will naturally find ways to save herself. As a result, it became more difficult for Beatrice to send him away. In the past few days, Beatrice has been reset more than 10 times. Whether she is coaxing or deceiving or direct forceful means. Kaiyu Subaru had prepared in advance and committed suicide on the spot if it didn't work. If a person really wants to die, there are really too many ways. Especially in this world where warriors, wizards, and monsters are rampant, death could not be simpler for mortals. Senju Chongsheng. At Bai Kui Si, do you have any thoughts of returning to your own world? Beatrice. I've tried it a long time ago. He is very obsessed with Miss Amelia and doesn't want to go back. Beatrice. And our world is much more exciting than his world. He is an ordinary world, so he is even more reluctant to go back. Shajiju Shiyu. This is true. If there weren't any chat groups in 10,000 realms, I wouldn't be back. She is a novelist, and people who write novels are obsessed with the world of power. Once you have such an opportunity, it must be impossible to miss it. So she understands Subaru Kaewi very well. This is the only chance for Subaru Kaewi to get rid of the ordinary, even if the road ahead is full of dangers. Yifan. I can also understand it very well. I have gradually embarked on the path of practice from the ordinary. Yifan. If I do it again, I will still choose to climb Mount Tai. Yifan is also a person who doesn't want to be ordinary, even though his name has ordinary characters. But his life story is a legend of Hengu. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 139 Takeaway Kaewi Subaru was. Every common rider was once an ordinary person, until the drive appeared, they could never lose it again. Doryashi. Yes, no matter what, common rider will not disappear. Limrudran Pest. Huh? Why do you like to pursue power? I just want an ordinary life. Bibi Dong. Is Limru an ordinary person? Limrudran Pest. Huh? Me? I should be quite ordinary, drinking tea every day, doing foreign trade transactions and so on, so happy. Senju Chongsheng. Good guy, Limru said he was nothing extraordinary. If this guy starts a fight, it is a stupid and invincible existence. Portgas Dace. Having said that, the strength of the new members, I seem to know Levier and Menyashi. Jin Muyan. It's really the case. I'm very curious about the strength of other people. Beatrice. Hey, can you keep the floor from becoming crooked? My side is very urgent, don't change the subject. This chat group information, while chatting, brushed away Beatrice's words, even forgotten. In this way, only brute force can go all the way. Senju Chongsheng looked thoughtful and decided to walk in person. He also wanted to see if he, the Traverser, would be reset back to his own world in the past. Or is it to stand still and go back in time? Or is it? directly invalidating Kaewi Subaru's ability to read files? Anyway, if you want to take away the Pleiades, you must personally take action. Because of her relationship with the rest of the castle, Beatrice is not easy to use tough methods. Even if it is used, it will be organized by others. Beatrice is not yet the strongest in this world, and Subaru Niyuki has too many thighs and backers. If you want to use brute force, you have to beat the thigh that Kaewi Subaru is looking for. Senju Chongsheng. Let me go and help you throw the Pleiades into Tony's world. Beatrice. Mr. Immortal is in trouble. Hinata, I'm going to do something at other times. If you don't rush back, just say I'm still in retreat. Senju Chongsheng winked at Hinata. I know, Senju Chongsheng directly clicked on the crossing function and stepped into the passage. The picture before him changed in vain after the spatial fluctuation stabilized. He has come to a library, and the bookshelves are full of books, endless. Blonde lowly, Beatrice, was lying on a floating ball and waved a small hand to Senju Chongsheng. Without any tension or anxiety. You look very leisurely, not as anxious as in the group. Senju Chongsheng said silently. Beatrice jumped down lightly and replied with a smile, because of the arrival of Mr. Immortal, I naturally don't need to worry about anything. Good guy, I seem to have a lot of face, of course. Beatrice opened the library door, and Senju walked out with a smile on her face. What you see is a luxuriously decorated promenade, which can be seen through the bright windows. Ram and Lem, in maid costumes, are playing with the flowers and plants outside. On a pavilion not far from the two women, there was a beautiful girl in a long white dress. Sitting gracefully on the stone bench, her snow-white hair fell down her waist. She was sipping black tea in a cup, and there was a young man in sports clothing beside her, out of step with the surrounding scenes. That's our Miss Amelia, and the man next to her is Pleiades Niyuki. Beatrice walked to the side of Senju Chongsheng and whispered, Miss Amelia is very optimistic about him, and she is also his biggest backer. Amelia is not strong in her own right, but there is an elf named Parker beside her. He is one of the heads of the 6 elements, and his true body is a giant beast with golden brilliance, and is also called the ultimate beast of permafrost by humans. Beatrice paused, realizing that Mr. Immortal probably didn't know the power of the 6 elemental heads. However, no matter how powerful the existence is, it is nothing more than an ant-like existence in front of Mr. Immortal. Thinking of this, she continued, I used to fight against the Pleiades Niyuki, and Miss Amelia desperately protected him, which infuriated Parker. Parker and I were both created by Agedona. Parker is my brother, and he is very powerful. Recalling the scene at that time, Beatrice couldn't help but feel terrified. The scene where she killed Amelia by mistake is still vivid at this moment. If it weren't for the ability to reset the Pleiades, then Amelia's body would be cold. That's the case, but it's not a big problem. Let's go to Wei Kaiyu Subaru first. Beatrice nodded when she heard the words, and immediately cast her magic, flashing down to the pavilion with Senju. Seeing the two who appeared in vain, Kaewi Subaru was shocked. Reading files more than a dozen times made him a little surprised now, especially seeing Beatrice's appearance. It was even more frightened that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Until now, he has not investigated why Beatrice wanted to kill him. It's Beatrice, this gentleman is. Amelia put down the teacup gracefully and said with a smile. The arrival of the two also attracted the attention of Ram and Lem. Ah, Ram, look, it's Mr. Immortal. I saw it, Lem, I didn't expect Mr. Immortal to come. The two little maids came at the same time, their faces filled with admiration. Amelia was a little surprised. Huh? Is this the Mr. Immortal you two talked about earlier? She had heard Ram and Lem talk secretly from time to time, and there would always be words like Mr. Immortal being handsome. At that time, she felt strange that she had never heard of Mr. Immortal. I thought it was a character in a certain book, but I didn't expect it to be a real person. Introduce myself. My name is Senju Chongsheng. Everyone likes to call me Mr. Immortal. Senju Chongsheng introduced himself with a faint smile, but nodded slightly and did not make any noble manners. Not waiting for Amelia to ask, Senju Chongsheng looked directly at Kaewi Subaru and said calmly, I'm here to send you out of here. Although it's not your original world, it's almost the same. He didn't bother to explain so much, who told Beatrice to join the group, not Pleiades Kaiyu. Nague Subaru was sent by the Jealous Witch, and the reset ability was also given by the Jealous Witch. As for what kind of existence the Jealous Witch is, Senju doesn't know. It is said to be Amelia on another timeline. Originally, this ability was used to save the life of Subaru Kaewi, but Subaru Kaewi used it as a cheat and reset the time repeatedly. If others don't know, forget it, but Beatrix has joined the 10,000 Realms chat group. Every time the memory is reset, it will be reminded by the members of the group. This also made Beatrice very annoyed. In order to protect her memory, she had to exile Nague Subaru to other worlds. Take me away. What are you talking about? I won't leave, and the Jealous Witch sent me here. Why are you? Niyuki Subaru showed a look of horror on his face. He didn't know who the other party was, but he was speaking daunting words. Envy the witch, other worlds, take him away. Every word is so shocking to the world. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 145 Roswaal. This gentleman, what are you talking about? Amelia's pretty face showed dignity, and the jealous witch was not something that could be mentioned at will. And Subaru Nayuki from other worlds. What does it mean? Miss Amelia, this matter has nothing to do with you. Nayuki Subaru does not belong here. I want to take him away. It's that simple. Senju Chongsheng smiled lightly. The tone was plain, but extremely domineering, and could not allow others to refute. When Amelia heard the words, Lu Mei frowned. I'm very sorry, although I don't understand what you are talking about. Kaewi Subaru cannot be taken away by you. Tumultuous. A Miao Huo appeared in Emily Yayu's hand. She stood in front of Subaru Kaewi and looked at Beatrice with her hands. She wanted to know what kind of attitude Beatrice had, this strange man, but Beatrice Ribbon came. Seeing a trend to start fighting, Beatrice hurriedly pulled off Senju's sleeves and whispered in a low voice, Mr. Immortal, Miss Amelia is not a bad person. Senju Chongsheng was expressionless, and he never could tell. Amelia didn't know what was going on, she just subconsciously protected her companion. He is not yet so ruthless, doing something to an innocent little girl. Although this little girl is older than Senju Chongsheng, her mental age is only about 14 years old. The so-called spiritual age is a person's psychological age. Many people's physical appearance does not match their mental age. Some children are 15 and 16, but they have a mental age of 20 and are very sensible. There are also 30-year-old adults who are only a few years old and still innocent and naive. Although Senju Chongsheng is nearly 100 years old, his mental age is only in his teens or 20s. Sorry, you can't stop the person I want to take away. Boom. Senju Chongsheng calmly raised his hand, and a terrifying pressure surged from heaven and earth. Aura turned into an invisible big hand, while grasping towards Kaewi Subaru. Also imprisoned Amelia on the spot, unable to move. Your Excellency came to my castle to make trouble. I'm afraid something is wrong, right? At this time, a red flame drawn a red line in front of Senju Chongsheng, looking full of beauty. Senju Chongsheng turned his head and looked around, only to see a poker clown-faced man wearing gorgeous noble costumes, with several balls of different colors floating behind him. Roswaal El Metzes. The owner of this big castle is an old monster with a mental age of 400 years. I didn't think about making trouble, it was just to take someone away. You want to stop me? Senju Chongsheng narrowed his eyes slightly, smiling nonchalantly. No matter how you say it, Subaru Kaewi can be regarded as the servant of my castle. If you want to move him, you are the one who moved my castle. Roswaal looked very confident, not afraid of the stranger in front of him. There are very few people in this world who can compete with him. He saw that there was a flow of magic in Senju Chongsheng's body, but it didn't seem to be powerful. Therefore, he naturally had to speak harder, so as not to lose the face of the lord of the castle. Huh. As his voice fell, Senju Chongsheng controlled the truth-seeking ball to fly out, transforming into the shape of a fire stick in his hand. If that's the case, don't blame me for burning. Bah, don't blame me for not being merciful. Senju Chongsheng looks indifferent, but also a person who feels good about himself and lacks education. Since your excellency insists on doing it, then. Shoo, suddenly, Roswaal just half-talked, he waved his arm directly. The heterochromatic light ball behind it shot out sharply, drawing a rainbow line. The restless elemental energy caused slight fluctuations in the space. Boom. 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 Facing the elemental ball of light, Senju waved the black stick calmly. The speed is not fast, but the opponent's ball of light is completely split accurately. The roar suddenly exploded, and several elemental energies were intertwined and swept through, turning into a tornado storm to swallow him. Boom. The elemental storm swept through and engulfed Senju Chongsheng. The colorful tornado storm rushing into the sky, as if possessing the power of destroying the world, shocked the dark center of Kaewi Subaru. Sure enough, the castle owner was reliable, but fortunately he hugged his thigh in advance. Under such a terrifying magic, no one should be spared, right? Chang. Suddenly, a sword light swept across. The elemental storm that rushed straight into the sky, immediately like a cucumber being cut by a sharp sword, was directly separated in two. Boom 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 boom. The overflowing elemental magic splashed around, bursting out a strong flash of light. The elements exploded in this beautiful garden, exploding huge pits, and thick smoke billowed. The location where Senju Chongsheng is located is already surrounded by a black ball. When the elemental magic dissipated, the black ball suddenly shrank and turned into the shape of a fire stick again. Call out. Senju Chongsheng grinned, his figure disappeared in vain, and he came to Roswaal in the blink of an eye. The long stick in his hand suddenly knocked out, making a sound of breaking through the air. Roswaal's pupils shrank and he hurriedly released defensive magic. Circles of magic arrays of different colors were superimposed in front of him. But, how can truth-seeking ball be blocked so easily? Bang! The colorful Madara's magic circle was shattered by the collision with the truth-seeking ball. A large number of elemental fragments fell like glass, and several bloodstains were drawn on Roswaal's face. The black stick was unstoppable and was drawn in his face on the spot. Boom. Roswaal only felt that an unmatched force was transmitted from his face. His clown face was beaten to a distorted face at the moment. The head even led the body to fly out, directly ramming into the interior of the castle. Mr. Roswaal? Amelia exclaimed, her beautiful eyes filled with worry. That's Roswaal. At this moment, he was taken away by someone with a stick? How strong is this person? Ram and Lem behind both covered their small mouths, their eyes full of surprise. Only Beatrice had a calm face. She had guessed that it would be like this a long time ago. If you dare to challenge Mr. Immortal, you will inevitably suffer the corresponding consequences. In her opinion, Senju Chongsheng is a god above anyone else. Boom. The beaten Roswaal lifted the rock on his body and flew out of the castle, with anger on his face. He is the owner of this castle, and now some people come here to make trouble. As a result, not only did he fail to defeat the opponent, but he was also swept away by the opponent in front of so many people. What a shame. Your rudeness successfully angered me, Roswaal said viciously. Dozens of magical rays rose up suddenly, and Roswaal had magical particles of various colors spinning around him. The rotating particles are expanding at an astonishing speed, and the elements in the space are all agitated at this moment, as if the elemental magic god descended. A hurricane in a radius of 100 miles blows, and the surrounding trees are swaying, and there are dense clouds in the sky, covering the sunlight to penetrate. The roar and thunder light flickered in the clouds, like a thunder dragon walking through the clouds. Sometimes hot and sometimes cold, squally wind elements come from many directions. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 141, Okay. Terrible power. In the garden of the big castle, Subaru Nayuki exclaimed. This kind of terrifying magic of resonance between heaven and earth made Amelia a dignified face. She wanted to dissuade Roswaal from being arrogant, but she didn't have this ability. Roswaal is going to be real, and should Mr. Immortal be real to him? Beatrice calmly walked to the side of Senju Chongsheng and asked aloud. True. Dealing with him will not be true. Senju Chongsheng smiled. His mind moved slightly, and the fire stick in his hand gradually became sharper. What's the difference between such a long magic saving time and a living target? It's really a stupid way of using magic. Call out. Suddenly, the truth-seeking ball, transformed into a sharp arrow, shot out sharply, so fast that it was hard to catch with the naked eye. It was like a black thread coming in and out, rubbing against the air to make a harsh sound. Roswaal's complexion changed. Half of the magic was forced to contact, and a large number of elements turned into light spots on the spot, dissipating in midair. Pouch! Before Roswaal had time to make a response, the truth-seeking ball instantly penetrated his body. Blood splashed into the sky, dyeing his gorgeous robe red. Mr. Immortal? At this time, Beatrice was also frightened, and hurriedly tore off Senju's sleeves again. Although Roswaal did something to Mr. Immortal, he really needs to educate him. But Sin is not dead, relax, he is not that easy to die. Senju Chongsheng gave her a look, indicating that she doesn't need to worry. Immediately scrolling the overwhelming aura, once again grabbed Kaewi Subaru. Wait, why would you take me away without my consent? Seeing that she fell to the ground with her thighs in her arms, Kaewi Subaru couldn't help but screamed. You don't need to know so much. Senju Chongsheng's voice became indifferent, and at the same time the traversal function was activated in his mind. A purple-black space channel suddenly appeared in front of everyone, and Subaru's pupils shrank, and she was very unwilling. He had seen this passage before, and it was Beatrice who had initiated it. So he turned around and fled without hesitation. As for Amelia's help or something, he didn't ask for extravagance. Even Roswaal's lost, Amelia probably couldn't even move. Escape, you must escape. No, I want to commit suicide, reset the time. Nayuki Subaru was very frightened. His eyes quickly caught the scissors on the ground that were cutting flowers. He jumped directly on, ready to use this thing to end his life. But Senju Chongsheng's aura hand directly grabbed Nayuki Subaru, who was trying to escape, leaving him with no room to resist. Want to commit suicide in front of him to reset the time? If Nayuki Subaru succeeded in committing suicide, then Senju Chongsheng, the owner of the 10,000 Realms chat group, can resign directly. Send you to a better world. Why bother to resist it? There are also powerful forces over there, and it's still a familiar environment, so why not do it? Senju Chongsheng smiled bitterly and shook his head, and then directly grabbed Nayuki Subaru and threw it towards the teleportation channel while he roared. Phew, at this moment, a weird cloudy wind was blowing in. The cold and gloomy feeling makes people want to shiver. Kaewi Subaru's body suddenly stopped in the air, as if blocked by a mysterious force. So that's it, the magic that spans time and space? Senju Chongsheng gave a cold snort, and he could see it through the true eyes of the evil king. There is a dark magical energy in Kaewi Subaru, covering his whole body, and the dark fog even spread to the entire world. It is this black mist magic that enables Subaru Kaewi to have the ability to read files. Moreover, this black mist seems to have a trace of contact with the caster, and is trying to forcibly reverse time and space to help Kaewi Subaru get out of trouble. How can Senju live as it wishes? A lightly touched fingertip on the top of Kaewi Subaru's head, a dark magical ray suddenly appeared. Inhaled all the black mist on the top of Subaru's head into the magic circle. Go. No. Under the horrified gaze of Subaru Nayuki. Senju Chongsheng gave it lightly and pushed it into the transmission channel. Senju Chongsheng. Tony, take the courier and remember to send him to Tokyo. Tony Stark. Huh? As expected of Mr. Immortal, it's finished so fast. Gojo Satoru. What do you mean when you were finished? Shajiju Shiyu. Please, can you stop driving suddenly? Tony Stark. It's amazing. I didn't expect that there are people in the group who are worse than me. Polygonum cuspidatum. Oh, haha. Mr. Wu Tiao rarely does this. Don't be surprised. Beatrice. Finally sent this guy away, comfortable. At this moment, Beatrice's heart was extremely refreshed, and this guy who would cause her to lose her memory finally left. She looked at Roswaal, who fell into the ground in the distance and immediately floated away. Roswaal's mouth was bleeding and his face twitched. Although he passed out, he didn't just belch. Senju Chongsheng also dissipated the aura and coercion, and after Amelia regained her mobility, her beautiful eyes were full of anger. She walked quickly to the front of Senju Chongsheng. Lu Mei scolded slightly. Where did you get the Pleiades of Nayuki, and who are you? What is your purpose? Faced with this long series of questions, Senju Chongsheng just glanced at her faintly, without answering anything. Explaining to her is a waste of time, and I have to rush back to Konaha. He looked in the direction of Beatrice, and said leisurely, the thing is done, I'll go now, don't forget to pay the reward then. There is a charge for doing things, and there is no free lunch. There is no free dinner either. Having said that, Tony's payment hasn't been paid yet, and it's time to urge him. This gentleman, don't you know that your behavior is very rude? Amelia was a little overwhelmed with anger, so she could only run to the front of Senju Chongsheng with a straight face to stop him from leaving. She knew that she was definitely not this person's opponent, but Nayuki Subaru was her friend, and she couldn't just let it go. Boy, I don't care if you take away Nague Subaru, but if you dare to do something to the cute Amelia, I will never let you go. A creature like a cat floated out, and said with a smile around his arms. Senju Chongsheng showed disdain, too lazy to quarrel with a cat. He waved his hand impatiently, and said, Nayuki Subaru is not a member of your world. I sent him away. Ask Beatrice for details. If you dare to stop me, then I'm not welcome. He glared at Amelia fiercely, and then activated the travel function. The purple-black transmission channel reappeared, and Senju Chongsheng stepped in. Amelia from behind looked anxious, and rushed forward immediately. Yusho grabbed Senju Chongsheng's arm. Just like that, under Beatrice's astonishment and Parker's dull gaze, Amelia entered the teleportation channel with Senju, and then disappeared together. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 142. Welcome to the Ninja World, Amelia. Seeing Amelia being taken away by Senju Chongsheng, Parker roared suddenly. The whole body quickly swelled from a kitten, and finally turned into a giant monster. The cold magic makes the heavens and the earth change, and the lush spring scenery turns into a land of glaciers with heavy snow. Amelia is like a daughter to Parker, and he is still a daughter. Seeing his daughter disappear in front of him, Parker couldn't control him directly and fell into a state of rampage. Brother. Mr. Immortal won't treat Amelia like anything, don't be restless. Beatrice's willow frowned slightly, and immediately cast her magic to cover the cold air. The purple magic and the blue magic collided with each other, bursting out strong fluctuations, and the scene was terrifying. Ram took Lem and hid away, using magic to resist the aftermath, and at the same time he whispered. Konoha Ruins, Longevity Home. Senju Chongsheng felt that his arm was touched at the moment of crossing. Immediately after the scene in front of him turned around, he went straight back to his home. He turned around and took a look. Amelia grabbed his arm in a daze, a little dazed and confused. Senju Chongsheng. Amelia. Sigma. Su degree D degree winking face, Su. This. Where is this? Did you use space magic? Looking at the unfamiliar surroundings, there is also a different concentration of magic particles in the air. Amelia finally felt a trace of fear, and Ji-Bai got a trace of sweat on her forehead, and asked a little timidly. The tone is obviously a lot more. She has a bad premonition and always feels this place. It seems to be different from the place where she has lived for 100 years. Hee. Welcome to the world of ninjas. Senju Chongsheng sneered, now that he is here, don't leave. People always pay a small price for the stupid things they do. Amelia. This. Compared with Otherworld, Ninja World has its own strengths. In terms of the top combat power, then the power of Otherworld is definitely more terrifying than the Ninja World. But in terms of overall strength, there are too many strong players in the Ninja World than in Otherworld. The top ones in Otherworld are indeed powerful, but other people seem a little weak. On the contrary, in the Ninja World, the existence of various tail beasts, Jinchuriki, blood succession limits, and blood succession elimination, has caused many people here, suddenly a batch. With Amelia's strength, in the Ninja World, there is probably only one genin level. The autumn wind dropped the leaves from the branches and slowly fell into the yard. It's already autumn on the ninja world, and the autumn wind is gusting, and winter is about to enter. Senju Chongsheng sat in the yard leisurely, drinking Hinata's brewed tea, and said lightly, "Can you do it, or go for a meal first?" Opposite him is Amelia, who was thinking hard. She pressed her white-haired head with her hands and stared at the go-board between the two in distress. After begging, Senju finally agreed to send her back. But the premise is to beat him in Go. Therefore, there's the following scene where two people are playing Go with each other. "No, I will definitely win. I will go here." Amelia pursed her mouth and put down a black chess piece, unconvinced. Clatter. White fell without hesitation, and Senju Chongsheng got up and walked out. "Hey, where are you going? It's not finished yet." Seeing that the other party was about to leave, Amelia was immediately anxious. "You have already lost, and you can't even understand winning or losing. What else are you talking about to win me?" Senju Chongsheng sighed, ignored it, turned and left. Senju Chongsheng. I suddenly wanted to send this idiot back, it was so annoying. Beatrice. Ha 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 ha. Miss Amelia is so cute, doesn't Mr. Immortal like it? Tony Stark. Huh? Mr. Immortal took the girl home? Gojo Satoru. Wow, is Mr. Immortal finally getting rid of being single? Edward Newgate. Hula la la la, this is the young man. Senju Chongsheng. Senju Chongsheng. Stop making trouble. Although she is silly and cute, she is really annoying. I still like to be quiet. Beatrice. Huh? Then bear with me, my side is a bit messy, and I need to deal with it. Senju Chongsheng. How? What's the situation on your side? Beatrice. It's okay. After Amelia was taken away by you, Parker ran away, and it takes some time to recover. In order to subdue Parker, Beatrice did her best, and a large area became a glacier. Finally, I found the strong witch Igidana, and finally stopped Parker from running away. Now the funeral process here is very troublesome, so she plans to let Amelia stay with Mr. Immortal for a while. By the way, let Miss Amelia feel the power and charm of Mr. Immortal. Senju Chongsheng. Okay, I'll be a daddy again. Even if Amelia is 100 years old, she is no different from little Loli. It looks like a 14-year-old Tsunade, who is both beautiful and imperial. While his appearance is mature, he also has a hint of childishness. Sha Jiju Shiyu. Oh, it turns out that in the eyes of Mr. Immortal, my lady is no different from a child. No wonder you are so gentle with girls. Acedes. Mr. Gu must not whip me. It turns out that I was treated as a child and couldn't bear to do it. Izumi Sagiri. Ah, this, then am I like a baby? Bibi Dong. Yun Yun. It may be that Mr. Immortal has a long lifespan, do you like older ones? Beatrice. Terrible, Ainzer Christine. I see, does Mr. Immortal like the more mature Oni-san? Ainzul Christine. There are several in my prison, do you want me to give you some? Tony Stark. Is it mature? I can find a lot here too. Yasuo. Boring, Senju Chongsheng. Cough cough. No need, you have misunderstood, I just focus on cultivation, I haven't considered these. Senju Chongsheng. Also, the reason why I say she is young is because her mental age is only 14 years old. Senju Chongsheng explained hurriedly, sweating in his heart, and he was almost misunderstood by the group members. If someone sends him an old grandma, it's scary. Ainzul Christine. Got it. Tony Stark. Got it, Gojo. +1. Understand. What the hell do you know? It seems that this is really a big misunderstanding. Senju Chongsheng's mouth twitched slightly, and he was terrified. I'm afraid these two guys are thinking of something strange again, and they must find a chance to talk to them. Yifan. Ah, this is not so good. Polygonum cuspidatum urine. Huh? What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Edward Newgate. Hula la la la, young people are really interesting. Portgas Dace. Daddy is happy. Zhang Jue. Ha 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 ha, young people now. Tanjiro Chiaoman. You are free, is there anyone who can come and help? You need to have the means to kill ghosts. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 143 Ghost Destroying Mission Senju Chongsheng. Need help? Tell me about the situation, let me post the task for you. Someone finally broke the topic, and Senju was very grateful. The painting style of this group gradually became strange, making him a little hard to resist. Kamen Tanjiro. We found Oni Maisuji no misfortune, and we are about to start a decisive battle with him. To be on the safe side, I need your help. When he saw this news, Senju Chongsheng had already arrived at the street stall and ordered a snack and ramen. Since Konoha was almost completely destroyed by the house, the restaurant was gone, and he could only eat from the roadside stalls. Of course, Konoha's roadside food stalls are still very good. In a ninja world without air pollution, roadside snacks are also very healthy and clean. Have you found Giwu Suji's miserable? So fast? It seems that the plot has changed a lot. Senju Chongsheng. What are the enemy's opponents, do you have any information? He needs to understand clearly that Giwu Suji Mumai still has a few subordinates alive, in order to judge how many members of the group should be sent to help. Tanjiro Shaman. There are only 6 windings left in the opponent's 12 ghost moons. We have arrived in Infinite City and are ready to hunt. Senju Chongsheng. The last string is all dead, not bad. Where is your ghost killing team? Speaking of the situation on the ghost killing team, Tanjiro's eyes darkened. Our side is relatively small, and many people have sacrificed. Seeing this, Senju couldn't help falling into silence. The world of ghosts is very miserable, almost completely destroyed in the original book. It's better to say that the ghost is off than the Jumian. It looks like we need to send more staff. With a snort, the ramen was sucked into Senju Chongsheng's mouth, and the task release option was opened in his mind. Choose 3. Originally, he wanted to send 1 or 2 people there, but he thought that Tanjiro was very miserable. So just let the 3 people pass and directly crush the horizontal push. As for the bonus points, the system is still allocated. Ding! The group owner releases a help mission. Quest content. Destroy Oni Mai Suji Mime and 12 Oni Moon. Limited number. 3. Reward points. Unknown. This task is a campaign mode. Candidates, please click the confirm button. During the mission, the perspectives of the participating members will be presented in a live broadcast throughout the whole process. Senju Chongsheng. Warm reminder, this mission requires people who have the means to kill ghosts to participate, otherwise you will not be able to kill ghosts. Tony Stark. Killing ghosts. My immortal armor has this ability, so please don't take this opportunity with me. But he loaded the breathing method into the armor, killing ghosts. It was not a problem at all. Polygonum cuspidatum. But you are not the only one who downloaded the breathing method, I also downloaded it, ha ha ha. Zhang Jue. The old man also wants to participate in this mission. Do I need to download Breath of the Day? Limrutran Pest. Huh? Is this the benefit of having more points? Can you really do whatever you want? Zhang Jue. But the old man wants to try more. Can my golden light curse work on the ghosts in your world? Levi Ackerman. Fortunately, I got the mission points some time ago and downloaded the Breath of the Sun. I can participate in this mission. Senju Chongsheng. Logically speaking, the abilities of the Celestial Master should be effective, and the Golden Curse has a restraining effect on ghosts and the like. The ghosts in the ghost-destroying world fear the sun, but in fact they are almost like evil things. The Golden Light Curse possesses the ability to get rid of evil things. Senju has practiced longevity, and this is quite certain. Gojo Go. So, my curse power should have the same effect, right? Senju Chongsheng. I'm not so sure about this, but it should be okay. Zhenjiao Dagu. My ability comes from light, and it should be able to destroy ghosts. Yasuo. I also have the ability to kill ghosts. I combined the profound meaning of wind and water to create a mysterious sword technique. I hope I can give it a try in this ghost-killing mission. What the hell? Feng Shui swordsmanship, profound sword technique, metaphysics. Senju Chongsheng was a little surprised. Yasuo seemed to embark on a new path of no return. Tanjiro. I didn't expect that there are so many people in the group, all of whom have the ability to kill ghosts. Tanjiro felt very fortunate. It was all thanks to his uploading the breathing method to the group that year, so that so many people have the ability to destroy ghosts. Senju Chongsheng. It's not too late, accept the task if you have the ability to kill ghosts, don't click if you don't. Everyone got an order, and everyone who had the ability to kill ghosts clicked on the task to receive it. Ding! Congratulations on the success of the mission. The people involved in this mission are Zhang Jue, Levi Ackerman, Gojo Goku. Gojo Go. Huh? I was actually drawn. Zhang Jue. Ha 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 ha. The old man and little friend Levi were also drawn. Tony Stark. Pretty, the armor I just put on can be removed again. Yasuo. What a pity. Limrutran Pest. Oh, I really want to play in other worlds. Yun Yun. I haven't been to other worlds, I can only look forward to my future tasks. Izumi Sagiri. I really want points, Senju Chongsheng. Don't worry, there are still opportunities in the future. Those who accept the task can set off now. Seeing those who don't choose, Senju has already seen the result. These 3 descended on the ghost world, it would be a horizontal push. In particular, the existence of Wu Tiao Wu and Zhang Jue is enough to crush everyone. Ghost destroys the world. Tanjiro and several famous pillars are located in a dark corner of Infinite City. Hum, there are piano sounds coming from all directions, and the structure of Infinite City is changing at an astonishing speed. The Ghost Squad and others had to move their positions carefully, not daring to make a sound. Tanjiro, those people you were talking about can really help us deal with such a tricky ghost? Insect Pillar Butterfly fell lightly, and her delicate face no longer had the calmness of the past. The next moment was the decisive battle, when the ghost-killing team officially started the battle with Ghost Dance Suji. Is the people you talking about the one I saw last time? Said Yuzo Tomioka said in some awe. Tanjiro shook his head. No, but their strength is also strong, here it is. As his soft drink fell, everyone's expressions tightened. 3 purple-black spatial wormholes appeared on the side, and 3 figures of different heights walked out slowly from the inside. Oh, hello everyone, my name is Gojo Go. When Gojo Satoru and others arrived, the live chat group started. Senju Chongsheng was eating ramen while watching the live broadcast, hoping that this live broadcast can be used to order food. It would be too boring if it was rolled directly. Captain Luel was still cold and didn't say a word. The old but energetic old heavenly master smiled cheerfully. When we meet for the first time, Zhang Jue, please tell us briefly about the enemy's appearance. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 144 Rushing into the Infinite City, Tianchi, Mr. Gojo, Mr. Luel. When the group met, Tanjiro walked with a smile on his face, feeling that the winner was in his heart. This time the killing of ghosts is stable. Tanjiro Chiaoman stepped forward and briefly said, "This is the Infinite City. Except for the few of us, the rest are ghosts. Seniors, as long as they encounter strange-looking people, just shoot. It's pretty simple, I'll go shopping outside." Gojo Satoru smiled, and walked outside in such a fair manner. The other members of the Ghost Kill team were shocked, and they spoke out to persuade him, but he had no reason to destroy the Ghost Kill team and the others, and he still went his own way. Is this person reliable? Yinzu Yuyao Tianyuan's mouth twitched slightly. Is this dangling look really okay? Don't go out and get killed by someone? Tanjiro laughed awkwardly, and couldn't explain too much. For Gojo Satoru's character, he has already cleared the chat group to know something about it. This person is very powerful, but his personality is a bit dumbfounding. Ahem. Don't worry too much, Mr. Gojo is very strong. Tanji Lang coughed slightly, and when he was about to explain, a huge explosion sounded outside in vain. Boom. 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 The terrifying violent blast blows the hot waves, and wants to be involved in all directions. Everyone looked shocked, their robes were blown up and they hurriedly looked at it. I saw a ghost with small hands on his face, being stepped on by Gojo Satoru. The ghost's lower body was still connected to a jade pot, twitching slightly, as if it were painful. The body was originally white, and it was charred as charcoal at this moment, and it looked like he had been burned by flames. There are many octopus-like tentacles on the ground, all broken into pieces and scattered. Hey, is this a ghost? It seems that my curse and spells can be used to kill ghosts. Gojo Goku grinned lightly, looking calm, as if he had done a very ordinary thing. But the ghost killing team and others had their pupils shrinking sharply. Because they saw the eyes on the ghost's forehead, it said, Shangwu. One of the 12 ghosts in Moons, the Windsor, was instantly killed by the man in front of him. This. Fake, isn't it? My wife Shani was stunned at once. How long has it been out? From the encounter to the war, to the end, it took less than a minute, right? After a few serial explosions, 112 Ghost Moon was solved? Everyone swallowed, the horror in their eyes has not subsided. Ha 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 ha. The speed of the 5 little friends is really fast. The celestial master Zhang Jue chuckled twice, and then a bright golden light burst out all over his body, rushing out like a teleportation. His movements are extremely simple and rude, and he doesn't take detours at all. Directly smash the door or wall blocking in front of him, breaking a few holes. Zhang Jue's reckless behavior immediately attracted the attention of all the ghosts in Infinite City. In an instant, all kinds of ghosts with weird shapes and weird actions rushed over, making sharp hissing noises. Boom. A strong golden light erupted from Zhang Jue, and all the ghosts and monsters that had surrounded him flew out by this golden light. Zhang Jue's figure flashed, and when he saw a ghost, he pointed out, the thunder skyrocketed, and the blood suddenly appeared. His body flickered continuously, and all the ghosts he encountered were just one-pointers, as if they were devastating, all of them were killed in seconds. Such a powerful speed and strength not only shocked the ghosts on Giwu Suji Wumai's side. It also scared everyone in the ghost-killing team, including Tanjiro himself. I take back my previous doubts, where did you find these god tears? Yinzu Yuyao Tianyuan was completely stupid. Such a powerful human being, why hasn't he heard of it before? And their method of killing ghosts, is a breathing method or something? Why does it look so weird? We are going to be on, but we can't lose the face of the ghost-killing team. Shazu Shido Wuichiro said lightly, and immediately ran the breathing method, and rushed out as well. With a slash, he instantly slashed out 8 vast sword auras. Kasumi's breath 2 types. Yay Kasumi, puff puff puff. Shaju Shido Wuichiro followed the old celestial master closely, and the ghosts missed by the opponent were all beheaded by his sword. With such a strong person opening the way, he is also fearless, and following the big boss as a fight. Commander Levi also launched a 3-dimensional mobile device to quickly shuttle through this ever-changing infinite city. Seeing the interceptor, he ran the breath of the sun directly, burning hot flames on the sword, and slashing down with the sword aura. Levi's combat power is not weaker than the ghost-killing team. Without breathing, his own power is several times stronger than the ghost-killing team's people. Now that he has the breath of the sun, his power has become more ferocious. Go, let's follow. Snake Zhu Yihei Zaobani gave a soft drink, and everyone followed him. There are only 5 left, standing in a daze, and touched his head in anguish. Ah, they seem to have all gone. Then I can't fall behind, he chuckled, and then the curse power turned, and he stomped on the soles of his feet hard. Puff, Disgusting brain plasma and blood sputtered out. Wu of the winding, the ghost of the pot. Just like that, Gojo Satoru stepped to death on the spot. Yi-fan. The strength of the Celestial Master has become even more terrifying than last time, and the power of the Immortal Longevity Gong is really strong. Senju Chongsheng. Don't look at his old Celestial Master who still has long hair and eyebrows. In fact, he can be transformed back into an 18-year-old. Senju Chongsheng. If I'm not mistaken, the Celestial Master has now formed a pill. Jin Muyan. I'm really envious. I also want to practice Immortal Longevity, but unfortunately I don't have points. Kira Jiying. If necessary, I can lend you points. Jin Muyan. Huh? Really, that's great. By the way, Mr. Kira hasn't been online for a long time. Kira Jiying. I am very busy at work here, but I can leave work on time every day. I am satisfied and fulfilled with my current life, so I don't pay attention to the news in the group. Lim Rutern Pest. Wow, is this Mr. Kira? Your ability is very powerful. You can turn people into a bomb directly. I don't know if I will be blown up by you. Ainzul Christine. Actually, someone would want to try the feeling of being bombed? Lim Rutern Pest. Ahahaha, I just want to see if I can be cracked by analysis after I become a bomb. His great sage can analyze anything. Limru wanted to know if he became a bomb, could he analyze it and find a way to crack it? He was very curious about this. Doryashi. The strength of the old heavenly master is really strong, which is beyond my reach. Was. Only your majesty the devil can inherit the power perfectly. Doryashi. Come on, Takiwa Shogo can't get powers other than knights. Was. Who knows? You can get the power that doesn't belong to Kamen Rider, why can't my majesty the Demon King? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 145 Polygonum Cuspidatum. Come on, Teacher Wu Tiao, there is another strange ghost next to you, it looks very strong. Ha 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 ha, peace of mind, I am invincible. Gojo Goku in Infinite City laughed, and didn't care about the third winding that came to him at all. Fighting Ghost, Yiwo Zuo. Yiwazo advocates the strong and hates the weak. In order to become stronger, and constantly looking for a strong opponent. Gojo Satoru's performance is undoubtedly very satisfactory to him. With short pink hair, golden pupils and pale skin, Yiwazao walked slowly. He was engraved with countless dark blue tattoos representing sinners, and his nails were blood red. Wearing a fuchsia blouse with rosary beads on her ankles. You are very strong, the opponent I am looking for. Yiwoza grinned, her golden eyes gleaming with excitement. Sorry, I don't really want to fight with you. I want to go shopping first, or go find that old man. Wu Tiao Wu pointed his fingers at the golden light in the distance, pushing Zhang Jue in Infinite City horizontally. Upon hearing this, Yiwazo frowned. Is this person timidly fighting? If this is the case, then this person must be a weak person who is bullying and afraid of hardship, which is really annoying. If that's the case, then you can die for me, Yiwazo suddenly yelled, all leapt into a gust of air and kicked out. Destruction, foot style, crown first cut, huh. Yiwazo's bare feet went from the bottom up, and kicked Gojo Satoru's head like a sharp blade. Boom! Gojo was distressed, and easily caught the opponent's attack with one hand. Fists and feet collided, bursting out a shockwave. The aftermath of the impact was like a knife cut, piercing the surrounding door walls. Hey, don't you wash your feet? The smell is a bit heavy, Gojo said with disgust, covering his nose with the other hand. Hearing this, the face of Yiwo became stiff. Destruction, foot style, flashing light, boom 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 boom. Yiwazao pulled out the soles of his feet and performed a series of kicks as fast as lightning. Every attack has flashes and bursts, and the cyan light is dazzling and gorgeous. But his kicks were all beaten away by Gojo Satoru easily. No matter how fierce his strength is, the opponent didn't feel it, just like a fly swatted his kick. How is it possible, you guy? Yiwosa's pupils shrank, and his heart was shocked to the extreme. Could this guy? Is it a monster that can fight against Master Wu Mi? In the heart of the ghost, Giwu Suji is invincible, how could there be a presence comparable to him? I won't play with you, take you to the Heavenly Master. Gojo Gatami chuckled, and his figure teleported behind the seat of Yiwo. Without waiting for the other person to react, grabbed his shoulder directly. Yiwazo only felt that an overwhelming force had frozen his whole body, and the picture before him changed in vain. Jin Guang suddenly turned and changed in his eyes, only to find out when he looked up. The two had already arrived in front of Zhang Jue, and the tall Zhang Jue was looking at Yiwazo and Wu Tiao Wu indifferently. 5 little friends, what are you doing? Zhang Jue said in a calm tone. It's okay, I'm going to go shopping, this guy wants to fight, trouble god, goodbye. After all, Wuju suddenly disappeared from the place without leaving a trace. Oh, young people nowadays really are, they always like to embarrass their elders. Zhang Jue's tone was very helpless, and the brief exchanges between the two were so calm. Didn't take Yiwazao seriously. Damn old guy, Yuosa's face gradually became stubborn, and the mysterious man just let it go. This old man in front of him is also with this attitude. Really, he is a persimmon that can be kneaded at will? Oh, are all ghosts so impolite now? It's the old guy who speaks. Zhang Jue's expression was still indifferent, his eyes narrowed slightly, as if he was going to fall asleep on the spot. Get out of me, you old fellow, sabotage, chaos. Yuosa suddenly took a step forward, dazzling glaucoma on his fist. He was like a rainbow, like a tiger descending the mountain, hammering at Zhang Jue frantically. Boom. 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 Yuozao punched Zhang Jue with a fist, making muffled noises. He felt that what he had hit was not a human body, but a city wall made of steel, which was extremely hard. Zhang Jue, who was surrounded by golden light, showed no change in his complexion. Young people nowadays don't know how to respect old people. Zhang Jue sighed and waved casually. Call. The hurricane swept out along with the golden light curse. Yuosa's body hurt, and it flew out uncontrollably. Boom. 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 He flew upside down continuously and broke through several walls before he finally turned over in the air and forcibly stabilized his body. There was a big hole in the chest cavity, and blood flowed out like a flood, dragging out a long line of blood. Ahem. Yuosa vomited blood and was hit by Zhang Jue at random, making him a little suspicious of life. What the hell, he was hit and flew by the opponent. Who on earth is the third one? Even if the mysterious blindfold man is unfathomable just now, why is this old man so powerful? Where did these two monsters come from? Are the strong ones so worthless? You seem to be still in a daze. I asked in the group just now. They all said that ghosts are made by humans. What is the difference between you and the degenerate global organization? Suddenly, Zhang Jue's flat voice came from behind. Yuosa suddenly turned his head, and the whole body's grudge burst out without reservation. Faced with such a terrifying existence, Yuosa no longer dared to have any underestimation. Destroy, kill and destroy. With a devastating punch, he turned around and bombarded out, bursting out monstrous fluctuations of vindictiveness. As if under the bombardment of this fist, everything is going to be wiped out. The Saitama teacher in the group saw this punch, indicating that the movements are very decent. Boom. The deafening violent sound rang out, and the shock of the terrifying airwave made the members of the group amazed. Zhang Jue, who was on the opposite side, still took the punch lightly, with thunder gleaming in his palm. The golden light curse expanded several times its height, protecting his body intact. Yuosa's complexion became extremely ugly, and he attacked again without believing in evil. Alternating fists and feet, making a debut. Destroy kill ghost core eightfold core. The cyan light of fighting energy swept from all directions, and Yuozao swept in with fighting energy and fists. Bang. Bang bang. Bang bang bang. Zhang Jue calmly accepted all the opponent's attacks with both hands, and the dull shockwaves exploded one after another. The breathtaking shockwaves seemed to be nothing, and failed to inflict any damage on Zhang Jue. On the contrary, the blood holes in Yuosao's body are increasing. Zhang Jue's movements are concise and capable, with a small range, but they are extremely swift and violent. While blocking the fists and feet of Yuosa, you can also seize the gap time and fight the opponent back. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 146. Since every blow is played by Zhang Jue with Palm Thunder and Golden Light Curse, it has the effect of restraining evil. Yuosa is a ghost, a thing of yin and evil, which causes the wound to be unable to heal slowly, and blood is constantly flowing out of the body. Shit. The blood was splattered all over the ground, and the floor nearby was scarlet. Zhang Jue stood spotlessly in the center of the blood water, not even a trace of bloodline was stained on the soles of his shoes. The old man only satisfies your desire to fight because of your pursuit of power. Now is the time to end, Zhang Jue said lightly. Also, there is one final blow, Wang Lao will be born first. Yuosa's voice trembled a little, he already knew after the collision just now. The other party is merely fulfilling his own wishes, or last wish. You do it. Zhang Jue's voice was flat, and he replied casually. Thank you, this is my strongest blow, destroying the killing final style green-silver chaos afterglow. Yuosa circulated the whole body of vindictive energy, and the whole body burst out a missile formed by 100 rounds of glaucoma. The speed is so fast that it is blurry, and the shot comes. This was his last breath, the blow he released. After a blow, whether he killed the opponent or not, he will die. To die in your own hands, instead of dying in the hands of others. In exchange for the rest of the people here, he will inevitably be pierced into a hornet's nest by his blow. But Zhang Jue's golden light curse is no longer what it used to be. As the strength grows, the golden light curse also becomes stronger. Boom 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 boom. All the green and silver chaos light from Yuosa hit Zhang Jue's body, and was blocked by the golden light curse, bursting out with a loud roar. The delicate floor was shattered every inch under this collision, and flew up. The people in the 10,000 Worlds chat group watched with gusto, as if chasing a drama, their eyes glowed brightly. Due to the excitement of the plot, Senju Chongsheng couldn't help but ordered another beef meatball and continued to eat and watch. Hey, I'm hungry, I want to eat too. In vain, a clear and sweet voice came from the side. His sleeves were torn a few times by the opponent. Senju Chongsheng turned his head in doubt and saw Amelia, with long snowy hair, already sitting on the chair next to her. I'm not calling hello, you can call me Mr. Immortal. Okay, please ask Mr. Immortal to invite me to eat, okay? Amelia said with a grin. She seemed to have forgotten the previous contradiction, and also her partner Kaiyu Subaru. The attitude is obviously different from before, and I don't know if Hinata said something to her. Okay, just order whatever you want, what I have in Ninja World is money. Senju Chongsheng nodded in satisfaction, and then went on to watch the final scene of the Ghost Extinction World. In fact, Amelia's attitude changed drastically, mainly because she already knew that Senju Chongsheng has the ability to travel through other worlds. In other words, her friend Kaiyu Subaru was really teleported to other worlds. In addition, Hinata chatted with her a few times and learned that Senju Chongsheng was not a bad person. Kaiyu Subaru should be safe now. After knowing this information, Amelia naturally lost her previous anxiety and began to calm down and analyze the situation. The most important thing right now is to return to your own world first. Ghost destroys the world, the infinite city. The dust that was raised was waved away by Zhang Jue, and he walked out intact, his complexion unchanged from beginning to end. Yuoza was lying on the ground dying, and now the wound was backlashed at this moment. In the next life, I will become stronger. His body gradually collapsed, his face turned into dust with a smile, and the forewords of the people who chatted in 10,000 worlds gradually disappeared. Poor child, you have to enjoy your life in the next life, don't be a ghost anymore. Zhang Jue said leisurely. Zhen Zhao Da Ji Yu. So strong. Can human beings be so powerful without relying on the power of light? Yun Yun. The newcomer hasn't seen the full strength of Mr. Immortal, his strength is much more terrifying than the old heavenly master. Ainzel Christine. With a touch of aura, only one hand covers the sky. The sky broke and the earth broke at the fingertips, and the universe collapsed between the breaths. Jin Muyan. I can testify that there was no bragging upstairs when the universe really collapsed. At that time, Senju Chongsheng exploded the picture of the Golden Wood World, and the members of the group are still unforgettable. True Angle Dagu. Hiss. So smart. Saitama. I'm on fire, I really want to fight the old master now. Beatrice. Can one of the heavenly masters sweep Infinite City, right? Ainzel Christine. Indeed. Yi Fan. Be amazed, you deserve to be from the Longhushan Heavenly Master's mansion. Kira Jiying. I feel that this golden curse suits me well, I will download one now and have a look. Yasuo. Unfortunately, it's not Kendo. Levi Ackerman. Shajichu Shiyu. Ha 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 ha. Liwei's helplessness. Bibi Dong. Who can't help it? 3 people passed by, and Levier was normal. The other 2 were outrageously strong. Levi Ackerman. I will become stronger, strong enough to blow a giant with one punch. Zhen Zhao Da Ji Yu. Huh? Dagu's doubts did not arouse everyone's attention, thinking it was just a group of slobbers. Only Senju Zhongsheng almost burst out laughing. The giants of light and the giants in the world of soldiers are not of the same order of magnitude. When you have the opportunity, you must let the group members know what the power of light is. Senju Chongsheng. At Lumen Tanji Lang. Where is your sister? Tanjiro Shaman. I left her with Miss Zhu Shi. As soon as he finished talking about Tanjiro, he immediately added, you may not know Miss Zushi. Although she is a ghost, she is not a bad one. She has been developing drugs to turn ghosts back into humans. Tanjiro, who was cooperating with his senior to kill 12 Ghost Moon, responded to the news in the group while fighting, without any pause in his actions. Obviously, I've long been used to doing things by the side of the water. Just like a web writer, Senju Chongsheng nodded slightly, your approach is correct. With the existence of chat group members, there are too many ways to kill Giwu Suji Wumai. Naturally, Zushi and Niduzi are no longer needed to help. On the other side, the ghost-killing teams have already fought fierce battles with other 12 Ghost Moons. Due to the joining of the group members, the pressure on the ghost-killing team is greatly reduced, almost always playing more with less. Although the battle was fierce, there was no such a tragic situation that the pair died together like the original. The scale of victory gradually tilted towards the ghost-killing team. They began to encircle and suppress the remaining winding, almost a one-sided situation. The pillars of the ghost-killing team never thought that victory would come so easily. Wuju, who left alone, was wandering in the Infinite City at the moment, and when the road was intercepted by a ghost, he collapsed directly with his fingers. As he progressed all the way, the moving Infinite City gradually stopped, and the lights became dimmed. It must be the winding house that controls the Infinite City, which has already been killed. Without the obstacle of moving the city, a long corridor with invisible end appeared in front of Wuju. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 147 Gojo Satoru vs Oniwu Suji Mime Wuju went all the way to the end of the dark corridor, and a barrier door stood in front of him. There was still candlelight passing through the shoji paper, and it was obvious that someone was inside. This breath is really evil. With a light smile on Wu Tiaowu's face, he pushed open the shoji door without hesitation and saw the scene inside. What you see is a white-haired man sitting in the room leaning on a wooden board. His arms and lower body were red, and his mouth was full of weird ones. The fangs were exposed, slowly opening the gap, looking eerie and terrifying. Kiwu Suji is not miserable. Senju Chongsheng threw the beef balls in his hand into his mouth and muttered softly. Amelia on the side ate very happily, exclaiming from time to time. Giwu Suji's eyes squinted, and said intoxicated, "Delicious human, I have never smelled such a good smell." Wujogu heard the words, and immediately sniffed his arm. Doubtfully said, "No, why didn't I smell the smell? You can really be kidding." His weird behavior was not taken seriously by Onimai Sujimu. In Giwu Suji's eyes, this person is either a fool or he is extremely confident in his own strength. However, no matter what it is, he will be swallowed by himself today. Onimai Sujimura stood up, the corners of his mouth raised, looking very happy. It has been a long time since he smelled such a fragrant human flesh, and this person's body is definitely a treasure. If I'm not mistaken, you should be the ghost dance Suji in the mission, right? Gojo Satoru pinched his chin and thought. Giwu Sujimura grinned and said, "That should be correct, so you can die, let me taste you." Shit. Suddenly, Giwu Suji's crimson arms turned into a long whip covered with thorns, and drew towards Gojo Go. Boom. On the side of Wu Tiaogo's body, the long whip suddenly hit the ground, exploding a huge hole. Happiness. If nothing was done, Oniwu Suji Mime didn't listen to it. He swung his arm quickly, slapped countless afterimages, and instantly destroyed this room into wreckage. Wow, so fierce. Gojo Satoru was equally fast, and no matter how many afterimages Suji Oniwu swayed, he easily avoided it. Like a fish in a pond, the body is extremely agile and difficult to catch. Interesting, there really is some strength, no wonder you dare to stand in front of me. Shit. 9 pipes suddenly grew from behind Giwu Suji Wumai, 7 meters long. Like tentacles, he waved strong wind pressure and swept towards Gojo Satoru. Faced with so many thorns and whips, Gojo Satoru had to get serious. Regardless of the small number of long whips, they have formed a large airtight net when they are waved. Kang. Wu Tiaowu smiled lightly, and opened his 5 fingers to the big net and gave a soft drink. Puff. An invisible force suddenly blasted out. The big net formed by the fleshy thorn whip suddenly burst in the void, blood was splashing, and the flesh fell. But at this moment, Giwu Suji's thorny whip that exploded and grew again in vain. Like a python, it instantly bound Gojo Satoru's body. Huh? Gojo Goku's mouth opened slightly. Giwu Suji gave a grin, and flicked the control whip suddenly. Boom. Wu Tiaowu's head smashed a large hole directly into the ground, which was inserted into the ground like rice. At the same time, Onimai Sujimura waved his arms again. The long whip turned into a sharp arrow and pierced it, making several holes in Wu Tiaowu's body. The whistling sound of the strong wind swept across, among the electric light and flint. The fleshy thorn whip that bound Gojo Satoru exploded again, and his figure disappeared in an instant. Boom 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 boom. Giwu Suji's arms, which looked like sharp arrows, all smashed into the air, shaking the ground to explode several pits. Gojo Satoru called the technique, and his figure had teleported behind Giwu Suji Mumai at some unknown time. The curse power flowed to the fist, and a fist burst out. Puff. A big bloody hole was pierced in the back of Suji's chest, and a large amount of bloodline overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Very good, ha 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 ha. Oniwu Sujimura grinned wildly. The stronger the opponent, the more the flesh and blood of this person is more delicious. He directly ignored his wound, his arms danced with the 8 thorns on his back at the same time. Pierce the 5 enlightenment from multiple directions and angles, sealing all its movable positions. Shoo. The fleshy whip made a piercing sound, so fast that it was hard to catch with the naked eye. But when they approached Gojo Satoru, their speed suddenly dropped, as if they were stuck in slow playback. Giwu Suji was taken aback for a moment, and for the first time he felt that the right ability was a bit strange. It's scary, you are much stronger than the curse in our world. Gojo Go laughed, and suddenly flicked his fingers. Hey. Boom, the indescribable airwave swept out, like a place to destroy the world. Giwu Suji's pupils shrank, and a look of fear rose in his heart. His head was exploded on the spot, bloody. A piece of corpse fell to the ground, making a hot sneer. Oniwu Suji Mime didn't die, the corpses on the ground were condensing and overlapping. Within a few breaths, Giwu Suji was resurrected from the broken corpse. Although the floor was covered with blood, the wound on his body had completely healed. Oniwu Suji stood still intact, looking at Gojo Satoru with a sneer. Unexpectedly, you can't kill me at all. Giwu Suji took a deep breath, calming down the fear in his heart. He is immortal, why should he be afraid? And judging from the other party's methods, it doesn't seem to be the breathing method, so he will be fearless. The unexpected vitality is tenacious. Is this the original ghost? Gojo Satoru looked at the chat messages in the group. While chuckling, he pulled off the blindfold by the way, revealing a pair of pupils that were as bright as jasper. At the moment when Gojo Satoru stared at each other, Oni Maisuji Suji felt as if he had seen the vast universe. Special people naturally have to be dealt with specially. Sure enough, there are countless powerful people in the 10,000 realms, and the number of times my domain has been used has also increased. Gojo made a strange gesture and whispered softly. A lot of space. Suddenly, the dark realm was centered on Gojo enlightenment, and he wanted to expand outside. Enveloping Oni Maisuji Mime in an instant, Oni Maisuji Mumai only felt that various scenes appeared in front of him, everything for 5,000 years. It is presented one by one as if looking at the flowers. In addition, there are a lot of things he hasn't talked about before: colorful Madara, gorgeous escape. He felt as if he had jumped out of this planet, flying to the depths of the universe at an astonishing speed. No, what is this? Blood ghosts? Oniwu Sujimu was awakened suddenly. He felt unusual, wanted to get rid of this state, but was powerless. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 148. Giwu Suji is terrified. How could human beings have the same ability as blood ghosts? Realizing that it was not good, Giwu Suji Wu Mier was extremely decisive, and directly blew himself up. Boom. The ghost dance Suji, who was trapped in the realm, was not miserable, and his body exploded in vain, turning into 1,800 pieces of flesh and blood scattered around. Wujo Satoru in the field was also shocked, but he didn't expect this guy to choose such a way of self-preservation. Because it can be resurrected, can you do whatever you want? Gojo Satoru was right. Giwu Suji Mime wanted to use the self-destruct resurrection to get rid of the control of the domain. However, Giwu Suji made a mistake, and that is that Gojo Satoru's ability is not one-time but continuous. As long as you are in the realm, you will be affected by the boundless space. Ha ha ha. What an interesting brain circuit. Gojo Satoru laughed, and didn't mean to wait for the other's resurrection. Take a step forward and flick your fingers. Water chestnut. Kang and Hyuk overlap, generating an imaginary mass that can be ejected. An energy wave that cuts the space ejected from his fingertips, bursting out energy fluctuations regardless of the ratio. The entire space is shaking violently at this moment, and the void can be vaguely seen. Boom! In an instant, you can see it through the live broadcast screen. A sleek impact suddenly appeared in front of Gojo Satoru, and the space was instantly shattered. Under this energy wave, the corpse fragments of Giwu Sujimura turned directly into fly ash. The vast energy fluctuations made the entire infinite city tremble. Everyone was hurt by the aftermath of the impact. The pillars closer to Wuju's side are bleeding from the skin, like burns. What happened? The infinite city is shaking. Is anyone fighting? Could it be that Ghost Maisuji has no misfortune? No. It is the aftermath caused by Mr. Gojo in the miserable battle with Oniwu Suji, Tanjiro came and said. Under the joint efforts of their ghost killing team, they have successfully cut off all the 12 ghost moons. I was planning to look for Oniwu Sujimura, but he didn't expect such a strong wave to erupt in the next moment. Chiamon Tanjiro saw through the live broadcast that Oni Maisuji Mamai had been wiped out to the point of ashes. Under this kind of space cutting, it can be turned into dust, which is the biggest fortunate. Not only that, but Wuju's technique is motivated by the power of a spell, and the owner restrains ghosts. Oniwu Suji never expected to die without suffering. Actually, he would not even use the strongest skills, so he died directly in the opponent's hands. Sure enough, it is crushing. It seems that the greatest contribution this time should be the old heavenly master and Wu Tiao enlightenment. Senju Chongsheng sat on the street stall and glanced at Amelia, who was full and drunk. Pay directly to the boss, then get up and leave. Wait for me. Seeing Senju Chongsheng leaving, Amelia couldn't care about digestion and immediately trod to keep up. She has no place to live, especially when she sees the ruins outside. Her heart is even more panicked. What's this place? How does it look like it just finished a battle? The only complete house is Senju Chongsheng. This world seems a little scary. Amelia quickly followed Senju Chongsheng, and the two returned home together. Hinata is no longer in the house, so he might be busy with other things. Go and clean the yard. Senju Chongsheng sat back in the tea room and said directly to Amelia, who wanted to follow up. Huh? Amelia was taken aback and glanced at the empty room. She pointed to herself and said in disbelief, Are you asking me to clean the yard? Haha. Senju Chongsheng glanced at her faintly. You and I are the only two at home. Don't you call me myself? Do you want to stay here without having to do anything, eating, lodging and clothing for nothing? White prostitution is wrong. Oh. Seeing the look in Senju Chongsheng's eyes, Amelia obediently went to the door and picked up the broom even though she was unwilling in her heart. She has lived for so long, living like a princess every day, almost never doing these things. But I have never eaten pork, I have always seen pigs run. Ram and Lem work in front of her every day, and Amelia is more or less able to do it. Konoha Village is undergoing reconstruction, and there is peace and quiet in Senju Chongsheng's home. This is the effect of the soundproof magic circle. No matter how noisy outside, you will not hear it inside. Senju Chongsheng once again boarded the 10,000 Realms chat group. When Tanjiro and others rushed to the battlefield, Gojo Satoru had successfully killed Oniwusuji Mime, and he didn't even leave the body. But they could feel from the scene left after the battle how fierce the battle was at that time. A huge gully stretched thousands of meters away, like a big pit slapped by a giant beast, and the Ghost Killing Team and others were in a trance. Even if the Ghost Kill Team and others combined their forces to strike, they couldn't cause this range of damage. Wu Tiao's little friends are really extraordinary, and they are finished so fast. Zhang Jiwei appeared near the crowd in an instant, with his hands in the robe, the golden light on his body dissipated. His Taoist robe is still clean and tidy, and there is no trace of any fighting. God's teacher praised you, you are also very strong. Gojo Satoru was rarely humble. The Commander Liviere fell from the sky, and the knife in his hand was also put back into the three-dimensional mobile device. The three of them can be described as pushing Infinite City horizontally. Although Captain Liviere is not as terrifying as the old master in Gojo Satoru, his strength is still higher than that of the Ghost Killing Team and others. He flew fast in the Infinite City, saving the members of the Ghost Killing Team several times. They also helped to slay one of the first ones and contributed a lot. After a brief chat with Tanjiro and others, the three also returned to their respective worlds. The pillars of the Ghost Killing Team saluted the three of them at the same time and watched them leave. This is their respect and gratitude to Gojo Satoru and others. No one asked how these three came from, and no one gave any thanks. Inner respect is the best thank you. Senju Chongsheng. At Tony Stark, when was the last time I went to your Marvel world to pay me? Tony Stark. Ah, this. Tony Stark. I'm very sorry, I intend to help you find infinite gems, but after searching for so long, I haven't found it. Tony Stark. By the way, why do you always like to call my world the Marvel world? Senju Chongsheng. Nothing, it's just the nickname I gave you from that world. Gojo Satoru. Is there still a codename? What is my world called? Senju Chongsheng. The world of spells. Polygonum cuspidatum. Why is this so ordinary? Jin Muyan. Speaking of remuneration, my knife has already been prepared for you. Please check it with Mr. Immortal. Jin Muyan. Exclusive red envelope. Senju Chongsheng received the exclusive red envelope of Jin Muyan. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 149. After Senju Chongsheng received the red envelope from Jin Muyan, a long box appeared in the house out of thin air. Press the box button, a mechanical sound rang, and the box lid opened automatically, raising a cloud of white mist. A long knife with a pure white body and a touch of technology and machinery appeared in front of him. A weapon made by Tokyo Ghoul Kazuko. The material looks like it is made of alloy, with sharp edges and corners, and the light swaying slightly. Senju Chongsheng is very satisfied with the appearance of the knife. He picked up the long knife, heavier than the black knife Shusui. It seemed that the quality was very good. With a strong squeeze, a thought suddenly came from the handle of the knife, which penetrated into his mind from the palm of his hand. This knife seemed to be one with him at this moment. The knife's abilities and manipulation methods are all presented in my mind. Seeing the power of this knife, Senju Chongsheng thought of two characters directly. Among Shinigami, the 6th Division Captain, Byakuya Kuchiki, and Assassin Wu Luki. This white sword made of Kazuko has the same power as Byakuya Kuchiki's soul-cutting knife Senbon Sakura, as well as the magic sword Shinblade of Assassin Wu Luki. The ability is similar. Jin Muyan. This Hezi knife can instantly split into thousands of blade fragments, and control the cutting and reorganization according to your mind. Jin Muyan. I believe you can feel it after you hold it. Senju Chongsheng. I have already felt it, very good, I like it. Jin Muyan. As long as you like it, Ainzer Gong. Congratulations to Mr. Immortal, for bringing up the new knife. Tony Stark. Congratulations to Mr. Immortal, for the new knife. Yun Yun. Congratulations to Mr. Immortal, for bringing up a new knife. Gojo. It's all repeaters, let me disrupt the formation. Beatrice. At Senju Chongsheng, I don't have anything valuable here, so I went to various places to gather a lot of element magic, and compiled a magic book for you. Be careful, and hope not to dislike it. Beatrice. Exclusive red packet. Senju Chongsheng received Beatrice's exclusive red envelope. For this reward, Beatrice rummaged through all the books in the library. At the same time, he went to other places to exchange goods, and got the local unpopular magic books. All the magic she could find was compiled into one book. Although not as precious as infinite gems, he has already done his share. Senju Chongsheng didn't dislike it, and after politely thanking him, he went straight to his hand. Encyclopedia of Element Magic. The book, half a meter thick, fell to the ground with a muffled bang. He turned over a few pages at will, and the element magic on it was varied, ranging from simple to esoteric. Whether it is easy or difficult, there are detailed magic release tutorials. Senju Chongsheng. Give Suguru a copy, this magic book is quite suitable for her to read. Beatrice. Ha ha ha. I also had this intention, but I was afraid that Mr. Immortal would disagree, so I didn't dare to give it. After receiving Senju Chongsheng's initiative, Beatrice did not hesitate to send a copy of Element Magic to Sagiri. Izumi Sagiri responded gratefully. Thank you, Brother Zhongsheng. Thank you, Sister Beatrice. Senju Chongsheng. This time is an exception. You will need to exchange points for future things. Izumi Sagiri. Thank you. I will definitely become stronger and help Chongsheng brother fight. Seeing Sagiri's soft and cute message, Senju smiled knowingly. There are many reasons for helping Sagiri. Now the weakest in the group is Sagiri, and the one with the smallest chance is Sagiri. Shiyu Shajichu, who is also a daily world, has also embarked on his own path of cultivating immortals, and at the same time discovered his mechanical talent. Sagiri alone is almost standing still. Although Tony helped her, it was still not enough to change her destiny. The child Sagiri has a very good personality, and Senju Chongsheng doesn't mind breaking the rules to help. It's definitely not lowly control. Senju Chongsheng. I hope you don't mind. This time I broke the rules. I would like to provide you with a new practice method for free. Ding. Senju Chongsheng uploaded the 6 Paths round Revolving Heaven Kung. Ding. The price of the 6 Paths round of Revolving Heaven has been modified by the owner. The latest price is 0. Yifan. Mr. Immortal is serious. We don't mind this. Sagori is so cute. We actually want to help her, but there is nothing we can do. Everyone lacks points, and there are so many things that can be exchanged in the group. Everyone can help her, it can only be a little help. Beatrice. Yes, Mr. Immortal doesn't have to be like that. Edward Newgate. Whoops. The members of the group are really friendly. Sagiri, would you like to be my daughter? Izumi Sagiri. Thank you Grandpa Whitebeard for your kindness. Bibi Dong. Sao sauce is so good, I want to accept you as my sister. Waz. Congratulations. The great Mr. Immortal uploaded a free exercise, I will download it as a respect. Doryashi. Haven't you always celebrated your majesty the Demon King? Why are you now taking refuge in Mr. Immortal? Waz. Please don't talk nonsense. His Majesty the Demon King is the king of the Kamen Rider world, but Mr. Immortal is the king of the world. The two congratulate each other for not conflicting. Tony Stark. Welcome to the Immortal League. Zalm and Tanjiro. When did an Immortal Alliance be added? Yifan. The novice is still chatting, the veteran has already downloaded it and started practicing, let's not talk about it, and slipped away. Polygonum cuspidatum urine. It makes sense, I want to practice too. Edward Newgate. Let me download it too. Yifan's reminder left the group deserted a lot in an instant. All selected one by one to download. The practice of white prostitution, whoever doesn't download it is a fool. Even Yasuo, who focuses on kendo, also downloaded the 6 Paths wheel revolving heaven skill. He also wanted to see how powerful and terrifying what Mr. Immortal uploaded. Everyone studied the 6 Paths wheel revolving heaven Kung Fu, and Senju Chongsheng studied his new sword. From now on, this sword will be called Shirezu from now on. He waited a few times and walked outside with a white sword. Amelia has swept all the fallen leaves in the yard to one side, and is putting it into the garbage bag. The cleaning is quite clean, and it seems that she is not a complete rich lady. Still quite capable, Senju Chongsheng didn't pay much attention to the busy young lady. At this moment, he couldn't wait to try the power of the day. Kang. The moment he clenched the white sword, thousands of blades fell into control instantly. In the next second, the pure white blade instantly shattered and broke apart, turning into blade fragments only 1 centimeter long, with different shapes. Like a goddess scattered flowers floating in the air, the sunlight refracted and reflected on the blade, and the shimmering light looked gorgeous. Wow. The scattered blades began to flutter with Senju's long-term business aspirations, intertwining various shapes in the air. His mind moved again, and the 1 centimeter blade fragment split into 10 points again. The fragments shattered into needle points, lined up one by one in the air, forming a bladed dragon shadow. The ninjas who were rebuilding Konoha didn't make a fuss when seeing the dragon shadow in Mr. Immortal's house. They have long been accustomed to the wonders and visions in this room, and after a few exclamations, they resumed their busy work. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 150 Soul Saint Bibi Dong. The needle tips with flickering cold light line up in the air to form a blue dragon, a white tiger, a basalt, and a vermilion bird. From a distance, the 4 elephants and beasts are vivid. If there is a matching of sounds, it will even be mistaken for the 4 elephants and beasts to come to the world. After getting tired of playing, the needle points formed by the blades all over the sky gathered together and returned. Arranged and reorganized on the handle, a complete pure white blade, without a trace of cracks, reappears in Senju Chongsheng's hands. I can't see a trace of cracks at all. Is this the power of Kazuko? I'm afraid it's more than that. It shouldn't be possible to do so delicately with the strength of Kazuko alone. As for which black technologies have been added, these are not known. There are also some black technologies in the Ghoul world, especially in biotechnology, which is even stronger than the Marvel world. Senju Chongsheng didn't bother to explore, anyway, the knife was easy to use. Master, I'm here again. As soon as Shirito was retracted, Tsunade pushed in. When she saw Amelia who was standing next to the pool feeding the goldfish, her eyebrows frowned. Why did a strange woman appear next to Master? Last time I went to Otherworlds, there was a black long straight, but this time, another white long straight? Does the Master like long-haired girls with different hair colors? Thinking about it this way, Tsunade suddenly realized that his hair seemed to be long and straight. No wonder Master used to let her grow long hair, shouldn't it? Suddenly, Tsunade blushed, and his expression became a little twisted and unnatural. I'm back, let me introduce you. This is Amelia, the new maid in the family. I can leave the cleaning to her in the future. Senju Chongsheng said with a smile. Huh? Who is your servant? How can I be a servant? It's too much. Amelia suddenly bulged her cheeks. Even if she did work here, she couldn't be so blunt, right? Can't you be more euphemistic? Maid? Tsunade pressed down and walked forward shyly, and looked carefully at the flowery Amelia, with doubts in his eyes. How can a servant find such a beautiful one? Where did you find the servant? Tsunade asked. Beatrix has something to do, so let her stay with us temporarily, can't let her prostitute for nothing, right? Senju Chongsheng replied seriously. As if this were true, Tsunade nodded involuntarily. Since it is from Beatrice's side, let her live for a while. Tsunade met Beatrice in the Marvel Universe, and the two had a good chat, and they were friends. A friend of a friend, coming from Otherworld, is naturally a joy. By the way, you. Tsunade Jade curled her golden hair in her hands, her pretty face was reddened, and she looked like a shy woman. What's the matter? Senju Jongsang looked suspicious. Just. Do you like girls with long hair? Tsunade stammered. Long-haired girl? Senju Chongsheng was taken aback for a while, he really hadn't thought about this problem. It doesn't seem to matter if you have long hair or short hair, right? But judging from Tsunade's twisted posture, Senju Chongsheng felt something wrong. Should. Right? Senju Chongsheng answered tentatively. Tsunade's pretty face suddenly became more rosy, and his eyes started to dodge a little, and something was wrong. No, nothing, I'll go make tea for Master. Tsunade ran back to the tea room first, the blush on his face did not fade. Senju Chongsheng opened his mouth and seemed to realize something. But in the end he chose to pretend to be indifferent and walked into the tea room, chatting without a word. The atmosphere of the two gradually became strange. Time flies, and months are in the blink of an eye. Ninja World changed from autumn to winter, and the sky was covered with white snow. The destroyed Konoha Village has also taken on a preliminary scale in the past few months. You know, it is still possible to build Konoha Village so quickly without modern industrial technology. This is definitely a big village of infrastructure. It's cold, remember to wear more clothes. We are ninjas and immortal cultivators. We are not afraid of the cold. Master, don't treat me as a kid anymore. Ahem. Used to it. Humph, you don't think I am an adult at all, you are watching other girls all day long. Longevity home. Tsunade was glaring at Senju Chongsheng with an angry face, she had reminded Master many times. But Senju Chongsheng always treats her like a child. Senju Chongsheng glanced at her delicate body faintly, then glanced at Amelia who was eating melons and tea. A little comparison, I can't help but secretly say, it's really not too small. He boarded the 10,000 Realms chat group at Baikui C again. Senju Chongsheng. At Baikui C, is your side okay? Hurry up and take Amelia back. My apprentice is jealous, and his attitude towards me is very bad recently. Beatrice. Huh? Are you talking about Tsunade sauce? She is your apprentice, why do you want to eat Amelia's vinegar? Yifan. Hiss, I understand. Izumi Sagiri. Ah, this. Gojo Satoru. Wow, shocking. Zhang Jiwei. Worse, this kind of relationship is terrible. Chiamon Tanjiro. What are you talking about, why can't I understand? Kasumigoka Shiba. That big, Sister Tsunade, has always thought about Mr. Immortal, don't you know? Tony Stark. Good guy, I thought it was just a misunderstanding. Ainzel Christine. Circle.operator, Jin Muyon. Circle.operator, True Angle Dagu. Circle.operator. Big Melon, everyone really didn't realize this. Was. Congratulations. Senju Chongsheng. Congratulations on a ghost, it's not what you think, she just depends on me a little, don't be crooked. Tony Stark. Got it. I finally know the type that Mr. Immortal likes. Ainzel Christine. So that's it, Mr. Immortal tastes the same as me, but I. Yifan. Can you two be normal? Saitama. Fucking nose expression. BB Dong. Is it in love? Does Mr. Immortal think that love has an effect on becoming stronger? Senju Chongsheng. Huh. Why do you ask? BB Dong. My master does not allow me to fall in love, but I want to love it. Senju Chongsheng. With regard to this matter, you have already gone on a crooked road. Senju Chongsheng. Human beings have 7 emotions and 6 desires. The 7 emotions and 6 desires affect everything around them, but the 7 emotions and 6 desires can also be controlled. Senju Chongsheng. Both love and becoming stronger can coexist, but they may be bad or good. Senju Chongsheng. Whether it is good or bad depends on your choices and actions. His large series of news caused the whole group to fall into silence. No one interrupted, and no one swiped the screen. Everyone left space for BB Dong, letting her think quietly. BB Dong. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Immortal, for answering your questions. My demon has been broken, and I successfully broke through to the Soul Sage. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running.